Ah, maybe because the... I see. Interesting. Seems the new windowed mode setup isn't showing the cursor. Well, that's not necessarily a problem. So let's make this more visible, huh? Oop, wrong. Actually, you I want. Something like that. Alright, and then we will let the timer run, and then I will get started and play a little bit of Shadowrun Dragonfall. That should be fun. Being a little while. Alright. Well, that's the timer done. Let us get rid of that timer now. Because we won't be needing it anymore where we are going. Alright, so I am back with Shadowrun Dragonfall, intending to continue towards completion of this game, although I don't think I will be playing so long that I would actually complete it. It's a pretty long game from what I remember. It's been a little while since I streamed, mainly because I was doing personal stuff. It was Pride in Berlin, which, you know, always takes up most of the week. And then unfortunately I got laid off from work, not immediately, but with notice. And so I've been spending a lot of time talking to the Agentur für Arbeit in Berlin, which is very bureaucratic and kind of exhausting and annoying. So that's why I wasn't streaming for a little bit. But now I would like to get on with this. So let us continue where we were. If I can remember at all what we were doing, which I probably can't. Right. We have finished with the audition. That was the last bit. We had talked to Luca Dürr of the mysterious organization. I should probably actually move the chat now to the other corner, because if I remember correctly, that's where it was best last time. And now we return to Café Jezve. I think we already talked to Luca Dürr. Yes, we are in fact in our home base. Of course, the first thing we must do is talk to Dante and pet the dog. Because what else would you be doing? Then, I think our first order of business, if I can recall what we were doing, is to... Yes, we have kind of like Baldur's Gate 2 style, this kind of amount of money that we need to raise with all sorts of in-between side quests and other things, of which we have 1,500, so it's not really adding up quite yet. And so the goal is to go and do our first segment of the main quest, I guess. Let's center the screen a little bit. I forget that it doesn't auto-scroll. At least not in this mode. Hello, Voomer. Good to see you. Well, that's also the other side of it. I have, in the meantime, followed the advice of some people on the Discord and actually started playing this in windowed mode. And hopefully that will actually improve the situation with regard to technical errors and so forth. And improve the, you know, very low bar of professionalism on this stream. How are you doing, Voomer? Let us assemble the team and travel to the Schattenest to infiltrate the Humanis Poly Club compound. That's it, we're trying to infiltrate this fascist organization that's for humans only. Fixer has access to a small network of mercenaries in the Berlin area. I wouldn't personally trust any Berlin mercenaries, but sure. These runners appear to below your core team on the runner selection screen, can be hired, blah blah. New equipment and abilities. Okay, that's very cool. But of course we want to kind of play with our main crew, right? We gotta have Glory. Gotta have Iger. Don't know if we need a Decker really. There's Dietrich, who I think is also somewhat useless. But why not? He does have haste and heal, and as a support guy I think he's actually pretty good. So let's go and do that. Now I know that Jake is streaming RimWorld, and so probably nobody will show up, but that doesn't bother me. The U-Bahn rattles to a halt at the edge of Kreuzberg. You're only a few blocks away from Schattennest, the Keats that Maxime and his smugglers call home. According to Samuel, they should be expecting you. Alright, do I have what I want? Yes, I've got the weird sort of mech suit outfit. We've got our good Ruger. Everybody else has their usual equipment. We can give Iger I'm going to give Iger some bliss, which I never really use. Nitro is pretty much useless, as is to be expected. Well, it's called Nitro. Yeah, let's get on with it. See how we do. I have Karma available. I do have Karma available, but I'm gonna save it up. Look, boss, I just wanted to thank you for bringing me along on this one. It means a lot. Alexander, he's a good kid, you know. If I'd been there for him, if I hadn't run off to Berlin, left him with his worthless sack of a dad, he'd never have fallen in with those humongous pigs in the first place. Let's go find my nephew, and let's crack all the humongous skulls we can along the way. The fuckers have it coming in more ways than I can count. It's not my best German accent, but good enough for government work, right? Oh, it's Bundesplatz. Now we know where it is. It's in actually a rather nice part of Berlin here. This is Bayerisches Viertel and Friedenau, which is a nice kind of turn of the century bourgeois neighborhood. It's actually where one of my specialist doctors is. Unfortunately, quite on the other side of Berlin from me. Well, it's normally a nice area, but now it is apparently called Schattennest. Guten Tag, what can I get you? We have soya-based currywurst, because we are in Berlin, so we have to have some currywurst. Or soup and sandwich combo for 10. Stick to your ribs first. Food. You know, if we're when in Berlin, do as the Berliners do, which is eat currywurst. I'm actually not that wild about currywurst, but it's okay. So you get a dripping yellowish sausage wrapped in a paper napkin. It sounds a bit more like Weisswurst. That's more Gabriel Guy's specialty. You take a big bite, immediately regret it. There's a funk to this thing a amount of curry powder could mask. Your stomach lurches. This thing is terrible. Yeah, that's right. My business is a rundown sausage cart in a filthy street corner. You want fine dining? I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, you know, that seems fair, right? Now we can try the soup and sandwich. Oh, okay, let's try the soup and sandwich. Yeah, that's pretty okay. Let's be nice to her. There's so many strangers down at this end of the line. That's not the end of the line at all. It goes on all the way. That's like halfway on the S-Bahn. But I guess this is the U-Bahn, right? So they seem to have discontinued the S-Bahn. In case you hadn't noticed, things are a little run down out here. You weren't thinking of heading out past the wall, were you? You be careful out there. The people on the other side of that wall, they've got no respect for anybody. Okay. Best of luck to you. Well, thank you very much. I also think I can use best of luck. Is there anything in the phone booth? Schockwellenreiter. This is an open request for information on current and past donors to the Humanis Poly Club. Home addresses and photographs. Presence of the hate group will no longer be tolerated within our community. We expose them to the harsh light of truth. Because that always does so much. The timely delivery of this information will be well rewarded. Okay, so we can earn a little bit of extra money by getting information on these dudes. Also, I'm assuming that everything looks and sounds okay. If not, then you should tell me. Not that I can do much about it, probably, but tell me anyway. Whoa there, beanpole. I don't know where you think you're headed, but you should turn around and go back the way you came. Compared to me, every elf is a beanpole. Ain't a bad thing, it's just the way it is. I mean, I'm kind of a beanpole, it's fair. We're not trying to be hard asses here. Our job is to keep the folks on that side of the wall out. If you really want to head out there, we're not going to stop you. There's a reason why we're stationed here. There's gangs out there that would skin you alive as soon as look at you. Well, they're going to let us pass. So they have a little self-defense, community self-defense unit here. And on we go. And here we are in Schattennest. Of course, the first thing we do is save it, because save and save often. Let's not save over that. save over here. Is there anything over on this side? It does not look like that way. It looks like a tram stop without a tram line. Also, you can tell it's not real modern Berlin because they have much better cycling paths than Berlin actually has. Ah, here's Maxim. Flying Elvish features match Samuel's description. This is our smuggler liaison. Well, well, if it isn't the muscle that Tuck promised us. Look who it is, everybody. New hires have elected to grace us with their presence. Nice of you to join us. You're late, chummer. Well, you come highly recommended, so I suppose I'll overlook it. I certainly hope so, for your sake. Pile in, people, and be ready. There's a rough country between us and the meeting site. We might run into trouble along the way. "20 minutes into our trip, the van comes to a screeching halt. Maxime presses his face to the passenger window. He doesn't like what he sees. Damn it, I knew this was going to happen. I fucking knew it. Everybody pile out of the van and get ready. We're going to need some muscle in a second." A shrill voice bark out an order. A pair of portable gun turrets begin to calibrate in response. There's a leathery woman with wild hair and a mirthless smile. "Hello out there, welcome to Rambok territory. This Keats belongs to Surf Turf Slag, has for months. Better clear on out of our way before they show up and force you out." Surf Turf, those tunnel rats. They're ancient history. Go ahead and call them if you don't believe me. Scream as loud as you want, they won't hear you. We buried them last week. Well, congratulations on your victory. You must have taken some losses in the fight, though. I'm betting you're not at 100%. Why don't you let us cross the bridge in peace? There's no need for any bloodshed today. You know what, you're absolutely right. We don't need to fight. You just pay us a small toll and we're more than happy to let you cross our bridge. I'm thinking, say, 500 nuyen per van. Otherwise, you better find another way to get where you're going, because this bridge is ours and nobody crosses without paying the toll. Nobody. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this does need to get violent. Get ready to ventilate these assholes. We've got a schedule to keep. Well, let's see if we can be smart about it. Does she like it? Okay, he gets mad at me. That's fine. He can do it. Well, I mean, we kind of need the smugglers, so it's fine with me. Let's do it. Although they are idiots, obviously. Now I gotta figure out who's who. That's a lot of chaos. Ganger Enforcer, so these are our enemies, so that guy's already fairly fucked up. But of course our biggest problem is the turrets. Now it seems to me that if we shoot this barrel, that will probably be beneficial for us. Right? But we will also be needing some cover here. How much cover is that? That's full cover, but it's probably also no line of sight. So I'm gonna go over here. Now that seems fairly effective, all things considered. Although these turrets are not completely knocked out, this ad pillar from the Weimar era isn't giving us any protection, which is a bit unfortunate. Do you have anywhere you could go? These guys are flanking us, which is also not amazing. How about you... I mean, I guess I should first always use your Adrenal pump, right? Giving her a free extra AP. Can use that. Can use her for melee. But I'm not that fond of melee when there's this amount of turreting going on, I'll be honest. Better might be trying to finish this guy off. Great. Just what we needed. I can get up here. Well, you still have line of sight, that's not too bad. Got the Mossberg. That will do for that. Do you have any cover at all? This is no cover. There's not a ton of cover options here. Well, we have a bunch of idiot smugglers who can take some of the damage, which is interesting. I suggest you get back over here a little bit. Maybe give Igar some improved aim. Oh, it turns out there's more of them. Okay, that was impressively useless on their part, but that's okay. These turrets haven't actually done anything, have they? That seems a little bit strange. What are our best options here? I don't have any line of sight on you. I could shoot you in the back. That seems kind of nice. But I don't have fantastic... He's got heavy cover on this end as well. Let's give that a go. Yeah, that's not too bad. Nice. Bit more like it. And you immobilize her, and you also benefit from this other idiot basically being your cover. And you can go and eviscerate. That should be pretty nice. And then do a regular attack. That's pretty much them done. So you take her out. Then comes DT. DT is going to give Igar some haste so that she can do a little bit more of where that came from. Such as knocking that out. Okay, so much for those guys. Let's give them some health back, adjusting our own interest. Take out the turret, because that's enough of that. Glory should be quite fine where she is, but she is a little surrounded by dudes here. Which I'm not over fond of. Maybe we can give you a better position to be. What if you get out of sight for a sec? Okay, I haven't really got any useful items. That's fine. Yeah, so you just stay over here, because I'd rather those other guys die first. Then we need to get Iger in a better position. Which is to say, where can she go? Probably here, but I think that would block your line of sight as well. None of these things are much cover. It's also quite far. This might be a reasonable option. Hiding behind whatever that is. And then our man here can get some stuff. You're gonna be in trouble if you don't get out of here. So let's have you over here. All of that is hardly of concern. I will reload. Could still do with a little bit of cover. So this guy didn't even do anything. Now we have Glory. Glory can take you out. And then of course misses. Okay, that's a bit better. Yeah, all you need to do is just take this guy out. Shouldn't have any trouble with that. Glory's too far away. Let's give it to Iger. So anybody you can heal? Smuggler, Glory. Sure, why not? So he's just uselessly running around. They're all missing. Just what you love to see. Let's see if we can snipe this guy at all. Yes, we can. Can you get there? You cannot get there. You need to reload, which we will do, but then you are in a very fine position to be shotgun. And that should do the job there. And that's 3 karma for us. Yay us. Well, that was unpleasant. All part of the job though, eh? Yeah, well, trust me, it happens. I'm just glad that I had you to cover me. Always good to have a competent man at your back. Which, of course, we are. I gotta admit, this attack has made me nervous. We're running late, we're low on ammo, and there's no time to call for reinforcements. Whichever way you slice it, we won't be going into this meet at our best. We roll up on the meeting site, be ready. We may need the element of surprise if negotiations go south. Yeah, I agree. So we go back into our crappy van. And make our way there. That was just a little intermezzo to soften us up. The courtyard of the Humongous compound is strangely quiet. The only activity that you notice is the clatter of the mechanized gates as they rumble shut behind the vans. The bulldogs roll to a stop. You step out alongside Maxime and the rest of the smugglers. There are crates here, a lot of crates, all scattered in various stages of disorganization. Looks as though your delivery is just one of many that this branch of Humanus has received. Blah blah blah, practice efficiency. Smugglers, nobody comes. No welcoming party. What do we do now? We gotta go talk to them, I guess. Leave that to me, friend. They'll have a hard time avoiding us when I'm in there, kicking down doors and lighting fires. He's like, no, this is a Humanus compound, oh no. Okay, so he says, I won't be getting your way when you make it back, blah blah blah, we'll be out there waiting for you. So basically they're useless and won't help us at all. Chemicals. Whatever's being stored in here is bad news. Highly dangerous chemical agent. Do not take internally. Avoid contact. Increases aggression and reduces impulse control. Okay. So it's steroids basically, but inhaled steroids. Do not proceed unless material safety data sheet has been read and understood. Yeah, we need to adhere to OSHA regulations here, right? Safety first. That's the Humanus motto. Okay. Doesn't seem to be very much going on here. What does it say? Tötet alle Metas. Für die Menschen von Berlin. Oh, maybe that's what that Für die Menschen von Berlin graffiti was earlier. It's meant to be racist stuff. Let's transition to our new location. The Humanus compound smells like a locker room and doesn't look much better. Calling the building run down would be an understatement. Paint is peeling off of the cheap Duraplast walls, and the tiles on the floor are mired with decades worth of grime. It's an old, ugly place, perfectly suited to the old, ugly ideology being practiced here. You enter the compound. The information that Samuel Beckenbauer sent you here to find lies somewhere ahead. Well, that doesn't look like a welcoming committee at all. We have received reports that you may be headed into the Humanus compound. It is vital that their current leader remain unharmed. Other Humanus personnel are of little consequence, but Volker Stahl is ours. Do not disappoint us. Okay, so we have an optional part of the mysterious, whatever they are, quest to keep the guy alive. That can't be too difficult, you would think. But let's see what it has in store for us. So everybody ran away when we arrived, which of course means that we will have no opposition, right? Couldn't be any easier. A lot of stuff here. Numeric keypad awaits your input. Okay, so we need to find some key code somewhere. Well, we could brute force it, right? Oh, not gonna work. Door panel. Word armory. So if we knew the access code, then we could get a bunch of equipment. Good to know. So what we just need is the usual handy, convenient note that somebody left behind with, don't leave your password again, or please remember that it is 6102 or whatever, because that's what people do all the time. Yeah, see, there we have it. Note. I can highly recommend it. Anyone who did what you did to those elves will go far around here. Sounds hot. You can hit the kitchen anytime, otherwise stay close unless otherwise told. Well, not the best writers here. Your locker code is 2619, number 3. Very convenient. And recruit couple is of course meant to sound as, well, let's say historically German as possible. Not that I would ever cast aspersions on the Germans, of course. I need them to give me unemployment benefits. So which one's number 3? So that's logically either that one or that one. 2619. Okay, it's that one. Recruit couple, your enthusiasm at the rally was more than commendable. Those truck bastards really got what was coming to them. Volkar wants to see you right away. His personal code is pride. Share this with no one. Yeah, we all know what that stands for, right? You really gotta get some security consultants for these organizations. Would pride work here as well? No. Or is it case sensitive? Probably not. It says one cap and lowercase, so we can try if that works. No. Not gonna do it. That doesn't look so nice. But it doesn't go off as we get in, that's good. I like that, when they don't shoot at me. I don't have drone control, don't have any rigor, so that's fine. Purge the meta-humans. Does anybody really write that? Let's see what we can find over here. A lot of stuff here. File cabinet with a bunch of propaganda. The first pamphlet says, you work hard, you play fair, and you can't get ahead. If you ever wondered why, the answer is simple. The elf is using the orc and the troll as muscle against you. When you turn on your trio after a hard day's work, what do you see? The pampered elf basking in the lap of luxury. That sounds pretty great, to be honest. Squandering the money that you could be using to feed your children. What do you fear? The Mongol orc and the savage troll lying in wait to rob you of your hard-earned gains. The elf, the orc, the troll, or are parasites, leeching away at your prosperity and happiness. So to wake up and do something about it. What are you going to do, human? Support the Humanis Poli Club. We will show pride in what we are and defend ourselves from the jackals at our door. So it's cool if you're a dwarf, I guess? You know the real reason. The meta-humans. The elf with his pretty boy looks, of course, takes the high-paid corporate desk job, rises to the top and blocks the top positions forever. Never aging, never retiring. Yeah, that would be tough, right? In a labor market in which people just don't get old. Pretty hard to get ahead. Can you imagine the German professorial system where you can only become a professor if you take the chair of someone who retires, except people don't retire? Like freaking Hegel would still be teaching. The orc is willing to work for table scraps, driving the cost of labor down and depriving you of a decent wage. A troll takes on the manual labor jobs. Not even the sweat of your own brow can earn you a living these days. Yeah, turn the tide on economic repression. I mean, kinda what you get, right, in a competitive labor market. Now we get dwarves. Why are the dwarf shops all family run? And now the dwarf run store opens, and every time more dwarves flock to our neighborhoods, driving good honest human businesses out. Gosh, I wonder what they took as inspiration for this text. It's very subtle. Why can't they keep to their own neighborhoods? What are they hiding? Okay. I think we get the general gist here, shall we say? This is basically what happens when you have no understanding of theory, right? Only the people could read Neo Capital by Neo Marx. Please log in to begin. Do we have a password? That's only a door password, right? It's probably not going to work. No, it's not going to work. I mean, we could make some guesses, I suppose. But usually the game just gives you the necessary notes and things. Is there anything here? Mysteriously walled off corner of the room. Not mysterious enough, apparently. And a door panel. Enter the door code. So I suppose we should find a way of accessing these terminals and stuff if we can later, so that we can get the information for the Schattenwellenreiters, oder worden das auch wieder war. Okay, what do we have here? We have a bunch of guys. Stocky man in military surplus jacket enters the room, flanked on either side by a pair of young women. Okay. Lower your weapons, girls. We have a guest. There, that's better. I have shown you hospitality, elf. Now it's time for you to return the favor. So tell me, why are you here? Oh, don't you worry. Your friends are already being taken care of. Trust me. So get everything that's coming to them. Patience, Dandelion Eater. By this time tomorrow you'll be plenty impressed. I guarantee it. It's going to be glorious, elf. That gas they hold in for us. It's going to prove every word that we have been saying. The trogs, the halfers, the goddamn Dandelion Eaters. One whiff of this stuff, and they're gonna tear each other apart. And then they'll spill into the good human neighborhoods, where we'll be waiting to stop them. You just watch and wait, mongrel. It'll be a bloodbath. Yeah, it seems like a kind of bad reasoning, right? It's like, I'm going to prove that the meta-humans are bad by making them bad. I've heard just about enough insolence from you. I might just have my men teach you some manners. And as luck would have it, here they come now. Alexander! Uncle Dietrich? Shoot him, Alexander. This man is an intruder and a traitor, come here to do us harm. You're going to put a shell in someone, put it in Stahl. He's a monster, Alex. I know that you can see that. You swore an oath to us, Alexander. You will be a man and keep it. I think he gets mad. I don't know, Alex. By the time I found out, the damage had already been done. Alexander, you will listen to me and obey your oath. I don't know what to do. You have to make a choice. If you betray your kind to join these meta-lovers, we will put you down, boy. You hear that? We will kill you. Uncle Dietrich, Do what you have to do, Alex. It's your choice. Do it, you stupid boy! Do it! This is so wonderfully camp. I love it. And of course, he doesn't do it. And now we get to shoot the fantasy racists. What a good time was had by all. But we have to leave Volker Stahl alive. So maybe he will run away, I'm not sure. But we can do something about our friends, the Humanist members. We throw a little frag grenade. Since I have a rifle, that's not going to be much use. Oh, that's Alexander. Okay. Enjoy the US Air Force recruitment ad, guys. Oh my god. See, at least in Germany we don't get that kind of ad, right? Also, good to see you. I can't remember what the German ads mostly are. I think it's mostly like holidays, you know, like travel stuff, and I don't know, like supermarkets and stuff. It's a little bit more innocent. Okay, so this guy is actually an enemy. Hang on, we need to give you your adrenal pump. If only that was a real thing. Of course she probably misses. Amazing. And we have zero cover of any kind here. That's not amazing. Let's get over here. At least you have a shotgun. That seems a little better for our Humanist friend over here. Can you do anything useful? Yes, you can. You can give Iger haste. And then Iger can put some bullets in you. Like so. And then let's back up a little bit. Oh, and Alexander is actually on our side. Nice. So that flags these guys, which is what we want. Yeah, why not you? We need to give you some cover as well, which you don't really have. I'm a little worried about putting them here because they're going to throw grenades, I bet, but let's see what we can do. Our friend Stahl is disappearing. We are getting achievement for not shooting him in the back. I suppose he has almost no hit points, so that if you shoot him in the back, then he automatically dies and you make that decision, I suppose. Of course, we just do it for mercenary reasons, not because we actually believe in forgiveness. We're not liberals here, come on. Come on. Shot for nothing? No. No luck with rabbits. You can go around. Could you, like, ever hit? Now that's a bit more like it. And not that this fight is particularly difficult. Missed. Oh, you managed to miss that. Okay, sure. That should kind of do the job, right? But apparently the combat isn't over yet. I don't know why it isn't over yet. In that case, let's save this. Save and save often. Have a little look-see at what we can do. Let's send our totally not Mary Sue redhead elf in. Where are we actually meant to go? Are we meant to go the other way? Ah, I suppose we're just meant to fight our way out. Okay, that makes some sense. Some sense. Glory, you running here. And check out what's going on over here. Iger, you can go the other way. Always split the party, right? That's what they tell you, I believe. Not really sure what you can do. That's in any way useful. Maybe over here. Because apparently you get half cover from being behind a waste paper basket. game has some interesting ideas. And our friend Alexander goes this way. Doesn't seem to be very much happening here. Oh, I guess you can do decking here. Well, whatever. Escape with the Humanist plot information. Oh yeah, we picked up the Humanist plot information, didn't we? Which is to say Operation False Flag, blah blah blah, which the bad guy very conveniently also told us about. So that he gave the necessary villain speech for us to be able to reveal what the Fash are up to, and that's where they are. Speak of the devil. I'll go over here. Oh, there's quite a lot of them, sire. That's not the best place for me to be, I'll be honest. Not overly convinced by this. Let's get you in there first. Let's swap gun. Or rather swap to a gun. That's a good start. They will never expect me from here. Hopefully. Maybe. Let's give him a little scatter shot. Can we hide behind a chair? No, we cannot hide behind a chair, but we can hide here. Although you're flanked by this mage. You are probably best off getting in here. So you can attack them from this side. Our friend Alexander. What can our friend Alexander do? Probably not very much. This is asking for a grenade, isn't it? Well, too bad. So far, so good for cover. Well, they were tactically useless. I was playing this on standard mode, so it's not like the hardest tactical challenge of all time. But even so, I have seen better performances. Problem is, I have a rifle, and that's only really good at the long distance. So who can I shoot with it? Maybe our little friend over here. Or maybe not. Alternatively, I can throw a grenade. How far can I throw a grenade? Or I can do the bear totem. I don't have a grenade. Well, I guess we can't throw a grenade if we don't have one. And it's just gonna be you. And I miss again. Amazing. Now it's time for Glory to show what she can do. Which is to say, miss a lot. That's a little better. You should be able to shotgun. Hopefully without hitting Alexander. Maybe we should get Alexander out of there. You back up a little bit. That strikes me as a bit more useful. And that's 2. Looks like we're going to have to fight our way out. What a brilliant observation, DT. Now that you mention it. Oh, you need to reload. Well, fine. Now we get the grenade. Thanks to our cover, it's not too bad. I also need to reload. This guy can't do anything because we just fucked him up with Glory. Not really a rifleman's position here though. I might back up a little bit. Just so I have a bit more opportunity here. You finish him off. That might be more effective. And then... that should be the end of that. Shot for nothing. Yep, there we go. I might as well shoot you. It's not gonna work, but we can try. You get in there. And now he's basically toast. So anyway, you can shoot him without shooting Glory? Maybe not. Or maybe yes. Any more for any more? DT gets in here. Alexander is a little bit injured. Now I can heal him pretty easily. So I suppose I probably will. Keep everybody behind cover. You run ahead. We have here a Humanist member. Okay. You move over here. And you can have Overwatch just in case. And now I can use my bear totem to heal you up, which is good. Then we will move Glory into here, which allows me to back up a bit, or rather flank a bit. See if we can do a distance shot here. Oh, actually, you do have a rifle. It makes a bit more sense to do it that way. The problem with DT is like, what do you really do with him most of the time? I can have some haste, I guess. Not that I can really use it. Does he have a rifle? I don't know. Probably not. Doesn't sound like a rifle, but what do I know? Okay. Glory, time for you to move in. Or at least a bit more. Then I will get over here. And then we get the real rifle work. Of course the last one misses. Because why wouldn't it? You guys go hang out in the cafeteria. Oh, this person heals. That's interesting. I wonder how and why. Not that it's helping them much. But it might suggest that there's a mage or something around here. Either that or they had a health pack thing. You stay here. Oh, you need to reload. Better we skip a turn, I think. Okay, you in here. Don't have the movement. No, I didn't mean to do that. Oh. Oh, fine. Then you can go here. And give her some extra aim. Alright, let's see what we have here. Dietrich. More haste for our Aiga, please. Aiga, you get in there and see what there is to see. Or oh, maybe only Glory can do it. Yeah, that's what I thought. We have two dudes over here. That's somewhat interesting. Not really a lot more cover to be had here, is there? Good hope that they can't shoot very well at a distance, but not too convinced of that. I suspect we should take it easy. For sure, unnecessary amount of dudes here. I guess the idea is that it's maybe it's one of those infinite respawning amount of guys. In which case we're better off just getting out of there. That may well be the case. Unfortunately, they're fairly well positioned to block our way. So we'll need to deal with at least some of them. Let's also save that so we don't have to repeat any of this, just in case. Because that would be tedious. Alright, game plan. What can we do here? I might go at a distance, from which I can shoot pretty well. Almost kill that guy in one shot. Could you ever please hit? Okay, that does a little bit, but not very much. You take him out. And then go here. Our Alexander will have to take some risks. We did heal him. Okay, sure. Mostly hit their own dudes. Oof. That's a little more painful. Can I heal him? No. Oh, I forgot to switch off the stupid Steam notifications again. I always forget to do that. Oh well. That's not particularly important. What next? We don't have a lot of range on anybody here. It's tempting to be bait, since I can heal us up. But then Glory better do her job. She does. You love to see it. Now let's see what Aiga can do. You have a range on these guys. You kind of do. Yeah, that was not amazing. You get over here and reduce our incoming damage. Probably the best we can do here. Is this guy flanked? No. In that case, just shoot him. There's so little cover here. Kind of rough stuff. Well, let's go all or nothing. Fortunately, they're smart enough to shotgun from a distance. This is a little risky in a way of doing things, but needs must. So we gotta get out of here, and we gotta clear just enough way that we can actually get out of here. How about you? Give me some haste. Now our position is much better. You're going to die. You knock him out and get here. Medium cover, light cover. It's good enough for me. And reload, of course. Our friend Alexander can also move in a bit more. But how and where? Maybe here to be a bit of bait, I guess. It doesn't seem that there's infinite people coming in, at least there's no new ones. So I'm gonna operate on the assumption that it makes sense to actually kill them. Besides, they're all fash, so we should kill them anyway. Okay, so far so good. You swap. Does anybody need healing? A little bit. The most efficient in Aiga. There we go. So it did in fact not have infinite spawning dudes. You'll love to see it. And let's save that, of course. Inevitably. Yeah, I guess we kind of have everything, don't we? We haven't found the Humongous Domar list. We will get Alexander to safety. We have the plot information. We can have a look around and see if we can find a Domar list somehow. But I don't know where it would be. We don't really have a Decker or anything who can access the computers. Unless there's something back here we didn't look at. Yeah, none of these terminals have anything terribly interesting. We don't know what the password is. Can't really brute force it. Even though I want to, but we can't. Then we can jack in here. Do we have anybody who can do decking? Are you a decker? I can't actually remember. No, we don't really have one, so never mind. There doesn't seem to be much of anything else here. Also, I don't think we need to be in combat method now. Oh, it has for some reason decided that we need to be in combat mode. That's a bit annoying. Alright. I guess it does a check after every turn to see if there's anybody left. So with that done, I guess we can call it a day out here in the Humanis Polyclinic, or what is it? Poly Club? I keep wanting to say Polyclinic, but it's not really the same thing. You burst through the door to the Humanis compound and into the crisp night air. You're not far from your extraction point. Time to go. But I suppose we'll still have to shoot our way out. Option will keep Max alive. And we have to keep Alexander. Get Alexander to safety. Okay. And where are we going? We don't know. Always a good start. You love to see it. You go flank this way. Yeah, exactly as I thought. There's a bunch more of them out in the courtyard. You give haste to Iger. I don't think you would have a line of sight from there, would you? Man, there's a fair few of them. Mage, member, mage, member. Oh, might as well take him out. Oh, they sure love hitting their own dudes, but I guess that's what you expect from the fact, right? In that case, I'd better get over there. Ah, she needs her adrenaline shot, of course. So that's good. At least I think that's good. Let's assume that it is good. Let's do this completely in the open. So he will die. Should not be in the open when there are snipers around. I mostly use Iger as a shotgunner, but in this case a sniper makes some sense. go heal him. Make yourself useful. He has a light cover, medium cover. There's also a whole bunch of stuff going on over there, but I have no idea what. It looks very energetic though. Okay, that was not worth my while, but sure. I'd better back up a bit. You tear him apart. You don't have a line of sight. Okay. Get behind this tree stump so we can maybe also see what's happening here. Are these good or bad guys? We don't know. They look like they might be the good guys. At least from our point of view. That's a lot of cover, huh? Well, you get over here. Time to hurry up, as they say. They don't say that, but they should say that. See if I can take you out. I can, very nice. Appreciate that. Shot for nothing. Even hit. This guy's pretty much toast. You can pretty much stay there, to be honest. I gotta move in. See what we have over here. There's a Humongous member and there's two dudes. Oh, there's another Humongous member here. Is that Max? I think that's Max. Our Alexander could do with some healing, I think. We do have healing. Somehow there's half cover from a bike rack. And reload. How do we get Glory in there? She doesn't have enough movement. But she does have enough movement to get over here. Maybe best if Iger moves first. Takes that clown out. You just go over here. Take a shot if you need to. And you do need to. Can you heal anybody? Yeah. And then join me in the tree stump. Okay, this should be done pretty soon now. I can needs to reload. Think you can get into... No, you don't have line of sight on him. That's not good. You should probably switch to your shotgun, actually. Come to think of it. Probably more a job for Glory, who can actually get there. They got the last shot. Can't let the NPCs have the honors. Come now. Okay, we get Alexander to safety, blah blah blah. Eliminated Humongous opposition. Kept Max alive. Crazy night, huh? I hope that this was worth the trouble. And good luck finding our money in there. Cool. And let's consider that done. Thank Christ that it's over with. You okay, Alexander? Yeah, Uncle Dietrich. Yeah, I'm okay. But those guys, I knew them. One of them was my bunkmate. I killed him. Couldn't be helped. If you hadn't, he'd have killed you. Believe it. We're gonna take you away from here. Back to the Kreuzbazaar. Get you the help that you need. Yeah, okay, Uncle. Okay. Thanks for this, boss. My nephew is safe and I owe you. One other thing. The Dragon Slayer is happy too. We just did a ballsy thing. Protected my family and gave a monster a bloody nose in the process. You should be. When the Dragon Slayer is pleased, he tends to be generous with his rewards. I can feel the power coursing through me, boss. I don't know what form it'll take yet, but it's there, and soon enough I'll be able to use it. Look, I don't mean to break this up, but we need to get moving. Kid, you're with us. The rest of you, pile into that other van. You can continue having your moment when we get back to Schottenest. So I guess, having done what Dietrich wanted, we, get an upgrade for him. The Umang ride home feels especially comforting today. The Berlin chapter of the Humongous Poli Club has suffered a terrible blow, and you're the one who dealt it. Volker Stahl's plan to incite a wave of bloody violence across Berlin has been derailed. It isn't often that a Shadowrunner gets to prevent an atrocity on the job. And there's Paul Amsel. I have new information to discuss about the estate. Please come as soon as you can. Well, that's to be expected, right? But first we must get our money. We are, after all, Shadowrunners, and we do it for the money. I love that this guy is called Beckenbauer. That's so funny. This fits as Humongous' established pattern of behavior. Horrific and vile. According to this datapad, Humongous compounds all over Berlin have received similar shipments. They are planning to deploy the gas tomorrow morning. I have a feeling that the Flux State will have a thing or two to say about that. Stahl has overstepped his bounds. His hubris will be his undoing. You mark my words. Within the next few hours, the Humongous Poli Club is going to take a hammering that will make the Night of Rage look like a peace rally. I owe you a great deal. We all do. I will wire your payment to the account number that Amso provided. Very nice. Very good, and we have a bunch of karma that we ought to be spending to improve our Mary Sue, main character. Now what is good here? Prepare for me scrolling up and down a little bit. Now we always need more charisma, of course, being the main character. Also, that just feels correct. We have pretty okay spirit control. Could get better summon spirit. I'm not sure that I care enough about that. Probably up my quickness a bit. For the other... this is so hard to click. For the other points. And then we have 4 karma left. What can I spend that on? Better chance to hit with grenades. Better willpower, maybe. Actually, willpower is not so bad. Take a bit of that. And you can take a point in biotech, which is almost completely useless, but I might as well do it. Ah, but I need to drink my tea. 1 second. Much better. There's this Agus Fengel something or other. What is it? Kumul? BOT that they sell here in Germany, and it's absolutely my favorite herbal tea. So much so, I think, that I'm going to buy a whole bunch of boxes and take it with me when I visit my parents. Because my parents have always got these like horrible, insipid, flowery herbal teas, which I can't stand at all. I like a good sort of herby taste. So I will show them how it's done. Okay, do we have anything to say? I guess we need to move on with the plot first, and then they will have something to say. It is an RPG after all, you gotta talk to your party members now and then. But first, Paul Amsel. Welcome back, I have news for you. In your absence, I've been looking into the Harfeld Manor. Whatever Feuerschwinge is up to, it is both large-scale and well-funded. I've uncovered a money trail leading from holding companies all over the world to an offshore fund with a dummy address. From there, all of that freshly laundered money flows directly into the Harfeld estate. But why indeed does a dragon have investors? It's probably Elon Musk, right? It's doubtful that the Firewings pawns even know where their money is going. This is typical of Draconic plots. Uncover a stream of money flowing behind the scenes, and there's a fair chance that you'll find a dragon at the receiving end of it. I feel like the anti-Deutsche should not be playing this game or we'll be in trouble. To a dragon, conspiracy is second nature. Ah, you see, it's in their blood. It's kind of their racial, you know, etc. Yes, and look where it got her. When the Firewing launched her attack on humanity, it was an act of hubris. She lashed out because she didn't consider our species to be a threat. It would be equally hubristic for us to assume that she will make the same mistake twice. I will continue digging into this while you and the team tackle your next run. With luck, I will have more information to share upon your return. One last thing. Malit was able to restore the readable surface of one of Green Winter's DVDs. If you'd like to take a look, you'll find it sitting beside the player. She's still working on the others. Many of them are extensively damaged, and getting anything off of them is proving to be quite a chore. She has told me that she'll be in touch if and when she makes any headway. Okay. I always felt that fantasy races with different lifespans face fundamental challenges in relative conspiracy strength. Well, that's kind of the funny thing, right? Like, this humanist, you know, oh, we have fantasy racism or whatever, which Shadowrun is full of, and which is always a dubious idea anyway, but even aside from that, right, this humanist pamphlet saying like, look, elves are taking up all these positions, and because they stay old or forever or young, however you look at it, and they never freaking retire. Like, that seems like it would be kind of a legit problem, right? Not to like hand it to the fash, but if we took this at face value, it would really be an issue. It's actually interesting because Tolkien wrestled a lot with this problem of like what to do with the longevity of the elves. You know, firstly with the problem that like obviously population numbers would increase really rapidly, right? If you have people who live all the time and barely die and whatever. So that's one problem. And the other problem is, how does it work with generations? because he wanted to have this sense also of like historical depth and historical continuity, and that requires generations. Like a big part of the human experience of time is generational shift, you know, generational succession, and that goes especially for you know, historical chronicles and the kind of long run of time that Tolkien was going for. So he has, like, in his late life, he made all of these manuscripts where he tried to like map out how the Noldor, you know, and the other elvish nobility generations exactly worked, and try to calculate numbers with sort of you know, compound interest maths to figure out how many elves there would be in the world at any given time. It's quite cute. It didn't really work for him very well, but he did try. And that's just sort of an inherent problem in the concept, I think. But that's also why, like, when I do D&D homebrewing or things of that nature, I tend to, like, adjust these things a little bit to avoid some of those problems. We already watched all of that, right? That's it. The second DVD. Okay, we get more tracks. Green Winters. Yeah, I see some little attempts to show a long-lived elf among humans and such, but I can't imagine a good thing of like different eras of relations between peoples. Yeah, this is also a thing, right? It's like, and then imagine, I mean, of course, you know, this is a little bit like Europeans making fun of Americans for not having historical memory the way we do. In that sense, there is a little bit of actual cultural distinction, perhaps, or political culture of memory is a little different in that regard. But then imagine, indeed, like, it's literally the same people are still around, right? It's like Napoleon comes to power and he literally lives for like 250 years. Like, that immensely messes up your idea of like how history works. And there's always a problem I found when I was doing D&D homebrewing and I want to develop a setting and, like, you know, make a dramatic kind of backstory or things of that nature. And then, like, it doesn't work if people don't, you know, come and go on the historical scene. It's a real problem. Alright, as I said in my last recording, I've been having trouble finding hard facts on Feuerschwinge, so I thought I'd open things up a bit. Let's see what the rumor mill has to say. I can't remember what voice I used for this guy, so I'm just going to go with this. Well, that was enlightening, assuming that any of it was true, that is. So, for the past 5 hours, I've been poking around some of the crazier fringe theories related to dragons and the SOX. As a reminder, the SOX is an irradiated wasteland between France and Germany. Yeah, that's what I would call Alsace-Lorraine as well. It got zoned off back in 2008 after the Kattingom GAU reactor meltdown. Atomkraft, nein danke. Anyway, there are all kinds of rumors floating around about the place. I've heard stories about a walled city in there that operates on a survival of the fittest killed or be killed basis. Sort of like a nightmare inversion of Berlin. All of the anarchy, but none of the stability that the F-state provides. The radiation poisoning, cancer and mana pollution are just the icing on the cake. Which sounds like it would be a cool setting for a kind of edgy Shadowrun adventure, right? So when Adrian helped the Luftwaffe shoot Feuerschwinge down, she crashed into the SOX. That much is well known. What isn't as well known are all of the modern day myths that have arisen about her since. And tonight I've heard an earful. I chatted up a girl who claimed to be a ghost rat, a smuggler that operates in the SOX. She told me about a dragon cult called the Disciples of the Clinging Fire. Apparently these cultists worship some sort of radioactive ghost dragon. Could be Feuerschwinge, or it could be nothing. But it's worth digging into all the same. Another thing that my little ghost rat told me, the popular rumor in the SOX is that Feuerschwinge's astral form was, I guess you could say, mutated by all of that background radiation. Some of the glow punks out there say that she shed her body like an old coat. Others say that she's trapped, doomed to languish as an intangible, radioactive ghost. A glowpunk, amazing. I don't know how much credence to give to any of this. After all, I don't have any proof that my ghost rat is even a ghost rat. She might be, but then she could also be a run-of-the-mill glowpunk. Or maybe she's just yanking my chain and she's never made it to the SOX at all. Who knows? Well, it's food for thought anyway. I don't know whether the thought of some radioactive ghost dragon thing is any scarier than a genuine dragon is, but it's interesting all the same. Now the big question is, will any of this get me any closer to finding Adrian? I'm going to go out of a limb and say no, but you never can tell. Alright, let's continue thinking outside the box. After the Dragonfall, the great dragon Kaltenstein came flying into the SOX to rescue the Firewing. But he was driven off, some say killed, by Lofweir and Nebelhair. So what if there's another dragon involved in all of this? Alright, so let's run down the list of major dragons that could be helping her. First, that's the Golden Worm, Lofweir, CEO of Zedar Krupp, and quite possibly the single most dangerous being on Earth. Lofweir is a local boy, so he's being in a position to help Feuerschwinge, and he certainly has the financial capability to help her. He could send a small army into the SOX if he wanted to. So he's definitely got the means, but I can't see how he'd have the motive. He actively prevented the Firewing's rescue back in 2012, after all. Same thing is true for Nebelhair, so let's scratch the both of them off the list. We've got Aden, the great Serush. He is operating out of Turkey. By all accounts, he's not a fan of Lofweir. They're actively competing for territory in the Middle East. Can you imagine, like, fantasy Middle East? That seems like the worst idea ever. So I suppose that could be considered a motive. Reviving the Firewing might cause problems for the Golden Worm. But would he risk a war with Zedar Krupp by straying onto Lofweir's territory? Again, I don't think it's likely. And there's Kelledir out in Wales. He's pretty heavily invested in Transys Neuronet, so he's got the money. But he's too busy dealing with the BTL killer scandal that Transys is going through out in London to get his claws dirty in the SOX. And there's Dunkelzang out in the UCAS. Nah, this is a waste of time. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am. The Firewing is acting alone. Dragons don't cooperate unless they absolutely have to. After all, why bother making nice with your equals when you've got an entire planet full of pawns at your disposal? They don't need to work together. They have us to exploit. Very subtle, all of this. Blah, 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 blah. Very cool. Interspersed with corrupted text. Vauclair and still my big brr. Still searching for Firewing. Swear to I will find you. It's the last thing I do, I guess. Not getting any claws. Swear to new research. Turning up. I'm gonna assume this is not naked. Don't know when. Okay. Meaningless assortment of ASCII characters. Well, I'll be the judge of that. Maybe this is a replacement cipher. Also, it's the same characters as the other one, I think. The same digital chime you heard in the Dragonfall DVD plays again. A crackle of static fills the air, followed by that same now familiar electronic whine. Hermie, it's me. I can't sleep. I don't know where you are. Out having fun, no doubt. Maybe flirting with one of those unattainable beauties that you're always chasing. That's good. I want you to live a pleasant, normal life. After all, one of us should. I can still smell the smoke, Hermie. It's almost a year later and I can still taste the stench of burning corpses. When I sleep, I can hear the sirens and the screams. There's no sound in this world as horrible as a burn victim's screams. The doctors would call this PTSD, I'm sure. They'd have me in therapy. Maybe dose me up on SSRIs like they do to our veteran soldiers. Quite a story for the tabloids. The great dragon slayer Adrian Vauclair mentally incapable of wrestling with his own demons. No therapy for me, and certainly no medication. I have a reputation to live up to, however poorly deserved it is, and however little I want it. The dragon's still alive, Hermie. Of that I am certain. One day I will find her, and then perhaps I'll be able to sleep through the night. Alright, that is more of our background story. We learn more about, as also a bit of a reminder for the player, I imagine. And we also have some upgrades to our team members now. Because we did another quest. I think at every major quest stage we get an upgrade. So she's already a shotgun specialist. Do we have her have a flashbang grenade with 2 AP damage? Or does she carry a better regular grenade? Honestly, AP damage is really good. So I'm going to do that. Our friend Dietrich can have a fire achievement, or he can have earth achievement. No idea what is better. Well, let's go with earth. That always sounds fun. Does she get a gold kit or a premium med kit instead of a basic med kit? Honestly, I think the gold kit is more useful. He can get cyber eyes with better accuracy, or he can get a better SMG. I think I'll give him an SMG, although I don't use him very much. Alright, so that's our little friends done. How do I get out of this? Like that. On we go, and the next question is, can we talk to our teammates? Do they have anything new to say? First, of course, we have to pet the dog. Every now and then we gotta pet the dog. How cute, look at that. Let's pet him again. Woof. Okay, let's talk to Dietrich. You really came through for me, boss. You ever need anything from me? Anything at all? Then you call on me and I'll come running. He's a good kid, he's that nephew of mine. Give him some time and he'll take Shake Stahl's programming. It might take a while, but he'll adjust to life here in the Kreuzbazaar. In the meantime, I found a good home for him. Samuel's agreed to take him in. Best thing for the kid will be to learn through immersion. If he stays with Samuel's group, he'll have no choice but to interact with meta-humans. Soon enough, he'll learn that they're no different than anyone else. First few days will be rough, no question, but he'll make it through and come out the other side a better man for it. You're a good man, boss. On to other things. Remember what I was telling you back before we climbed into the van? That's right. Thanks to our, let's not mince words, heroic actions back in that swine pit, the Dragon Slayer has seen fit to grant me his favor. Now I know what that means and what I can do with it. This. Okay. I've just torn open a channel between myself and the Dragon Slayer. That power that you feel is his power, pulling through the ether and into that spot. If you're familiar with ley lines, it's the same basic concept. I consecrate a patch of ground, and as long as I stand in that spot, all of my magic gets stronger. Not bad, huh? Don't see why not. Like I said, it's basically a ley line. As long as you're on the Dragon Slayer's good side, I don't see why you couldn't use it. My idol, he isn't stingy with his gifts. Anyway, boss, I want to keep filling with this, learning to properly control it. I'm sure that you've got things to do as well. Cool. So that's a nice level up for our skill up for our friend. Let's see if Iger wants to talk. Our fearless leader returns. What do you need? No, I'm not in the habit of sharing war stories. Not with people who've never served. Alright. You win. I owe everything to my time in the KSK, from my street name on down. So, you tell me what you want to know and we'll see where this goes. Basic training, made a vulgar joke. The north face of the Eiger in the Bernese Alps. Huge and beautiful, but dangerous to climb. There's still a little doubt of what kind of climbing he had in mind. I think he was trying to proposition me in his clumsy way. Anyway, he got one. I broke 3 of his ribs and the game stuck. Of course she doesn't think that's funny. I'm not a goddamn savage. I put that recruit down because he demeaned me and he did it in front of our peers. I had a damn good reason to be angry. I was getting sadder with the name Iger. As soon as that idiot made his little joke, it was a foregone conclusion. My only choice in the matter was whether it happened under his terms or under mine. Otherwise, it would have meant a difficult sexual conquest to a whole barracks full of recruits. Hanging now banging you name meant the troll doesn't take shit from anyone instead. Which would you rather be? Well, that's a good question, right? An easy sexual conquest for a whole barracks full of recruits. I gotta be honest. Doesn't sound that bad. But I suppose that's not what the game wants me to say, right? Damn right I did. Nothing will kill you faster than losing the respect of your team. Your place I would have. Well, you've succeeded if you tried. In terms of saving face, it would have done wonders. Need anything else? There were 8 of us. 2 commandos, squads, Schmid and Lange, Wolf, Fischer, Braun, Metzger and Krüger. All very generic names. They went to the German phone book, it seems. Extraterritorial, technically illegal. Ah, of course they were sent into Poland. Because of course what do you do with German soldiers? You send them into Poland. Supposedly for the Russian mafia. Chalked up a lot of kills, did some good. Metzger, best leader I ever had the pleasure of serving under. Hell of a man. When he went down with the rest of the team. Everyone but me. No, that's one story I won't be telling. They died, that's all you need to know. Afraid not. It's a Berlin thing, blah blah blah. After all the moral ambiguity we've been wading through, hitting Humongous was incredibly satisfying. What they had planned makes my blood boil just thinking about it. I still wish that I could put a bullet in Stahl's spine. But if the fallout from tonight's run is as far-reaching as I think it's gonna be, it's probably gonna wind up wishing that he were dead. And that's almost as satisfying. Okay, so we get something out of her. And let's try Glory. A lot of lodges, shamanic lodges, hunting lodges. Nothing's coming to me. Dietrich might be able to help. If he knows anything, ask him. Cool. Okay, she still doesn't want to talk. That takes a little while to unlock, I think. If I remember correctly. So let's see if Dietrich knows anything about the lodge. Boss, you mean the Black Lodge? Shadowy, powerful, secretive as hell, with the deep pockets and a penchant for hiding the truth. Conduct all of their business through dupes and go-betweens. Yeah, that sounds right. Whoever you're talking about, I hate saying it is, then I advise you to stay away from them. Stay far, far away and do not take their money. If you do, they'll own you. The Black Lodge is the mother of all conspiracies. They've been around for hundreds of years, practicing magic since well before the Awakening. You've heard of the Masons, the Knights Templar, the Bavarian Illuminati? They were all puppets of the Black Lodge. None of them knew who they were working for, but the Lodge was there, pulling the strings. They always have been, and they are still today. That's the story. Your mileage may vary. Believe whatever you want. You already know what I think. Okay. So it's basically an Assassin's Creed plot. That doesn't make things any better. But fair enough. Do we have another quest though, is the question. Question about the Kreuzbazaar. Blah 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 blah. That's not that interesting, I don't think. Do we actually have any... I guess we could talk to Luca Dur and tell him that we spared what's-his-face. And he should be happy. God, I love the art on this game. I say this every time, but the art design is so damn good and the music is so damn good. That really makes these games. As RPGs, they're decent, if fairly unremarkable. And the combat is okay and also fairly unremarkable, but the design really makes it. They got the atmosphere so right. What do we get? We get all of 1,000 new yen. That was so not worth it. Okay, it doesn't have anything new to say. So our little doggo is following us around. That's very cute. Does her Buragazi have anything to say? I'm told you have been quite busy of late, O Wanderer of the Shadows. My street rats tell me that business is picking up. Is that the man who has taken over from Monica, Buragazi? Does it look like your rotundity, the Pope from the Vatican? Ah, give him a soy calf, a big one. Put it on my account. I like the cut of his jib. A large soy calf? My, you are the generous one, Goldschmidt. Are you sure you can afford such a gesture? And a scone. I was going to say and a scone as well. Nothing is too good for him. As you desire, O ample one. The man is a moron, but he eats his weight in baklava and pastries, so who am I to care? Now, what is it that you would like? No, I hate coffee, so no thanks to that. Can we talk to Cousin Kami? Yeah, you've been busy. What did you hear about me? I do too, which is nice. Although it says if you do not spy, how will you know who's boss? Or something like that. I'm just a kid, what do I know? What does that mean? You'd be surprised when I know, but you don't seem like the perceptive type, so that's to be expected. Alright, and then she gets mad. That's fine. Does Malit have anything interesting to say? Got the drone fixed. There's a complication. Got a custom IOS stack on it. Somebody wrote code that sits on the bootloader and configures the drone to only accept commands from a specific user. Hey, you gotta love Shadowrun techno babble as well. That's very funny. Thing works like a computer virus, you see? A computer virus. Discontinued model of a stolen corp drone. Blah blah blah. We'll ask around for its owner. Okay. Why not? And how is Alexander doing? He's adjusting with difficulty. Your friend Friedrich took a chance in sending his nephew to us. I will do my best to justify his faith in me. Cool. We don't need to do that. We don't need to donate to get our reputation up. This is not Baldur's Gate, unfortunately. Although, of course, Baldur's Gate 3 will be coming out soon. And you better believe that I will be playing it. Especially since my best friend was so sweet as to buy me a pre-purchase of Baldur's Gate 3 as a compensation for me losing my job. So that will also give me a little bit of time to actually play it, at least when I'm not in the US. Yeah, we know all of that. Flux demand transparency, truth about Malika's death, uncertain intent. You still think we're leaderless? Not sure yet. Too many times before. Anything else you need? I don't want to hear about the war. I don't care about the war. Okay, that's cool. What do I have in terms of stuff? Is there anything I really need? Here's some medical stuff, maybe. Who here sells that again? Is that you? No, you have weapons, I think. Any outfits that are better than what I have? I don't actually know. What do I have? Armor 4. I can probably sell this, right? Is that what I'm wearing? I don't know. What am I wearing? Oh, ballistic cloth. 5 but +2 charisma. Yeah, that's pretty good for the main character, I think. If we keep it that way. Yes, Baldur's Gate 3, I know, right? This is, I'm pretty excited. You know, I've deliberately avoided like every bit of knowledge about it. I mean, of course, through osmosis, I have picked up quite a bit anyway, but I have not played the early access because I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. I want to really dive into it as soon as it's out and have the full Baldur's Gate experience. Now, I don't think it's possible to completely recreate the magic of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 because so much of that is also the nostalgia factor, right? And the kind of game it was when it was out, you know, in the late 90s. It's a very different thing to bring out a game like that than now. But everything I've heard seems to suggest that it's pretty good in its own right. And Larian have a reputation to defend. So on that point, it looks pretty promising as far as I can tell. Yeah, same. I only went into the game just to see the character creation. Didn't even watch the intro cutscene. Yeah, see, I didn't even do that, but that's basically as far as I would go. Let's have a look at our cyber clinic. Schematic auto injector. Simple enough, won't be cheap. Blah blah blah. He doesn't know anything about anything, and neither do I. That's good. That's how we like to do business. Let's buy some medical supplies. Yeah, I'm very curious how Baldur's Gate will be. So everything that other people have told me seems to suggest that they really made it into a proper 5e simulator, which is also why it's of course turn-based as opposed to real-time with pause like the old Baldur's Gate was. So that's already one major difference that we're going to have to see how that affects things. You can basically never have enough of these things. But I'm not in principle opposed to turn-based. I actually am one of the old school people who likes real-time with pause quite a bit for like the really big classic RPG stuff. Like Pillars of Eternity, where a lot of people got really mad that there was no turn-based system. I actually really liked the real-time combat system that they had, even if it was a little difficult to figure out initially. But I thought it was very well designed. But, you know, there's also nothing against turn-based per se. As long as it doesn't feel like you're playing Final Fantasy, I guess. Because I will always be dissing Final Fantasy. Now, always pay your local sex workers. Very important. And the one problem I do have right now is that I actually don't know where to get the next quest. Does our friend Amsel have anything to say? Or do we have anywhere to go? I'm usually from the turn-based team, so I can't say I'm sad about that choice. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, most people, as far as I know, by far seem to prefer turn-based. Like, pretty much everybody I talk to, they're like, no, turn-based is better. I'm not sure why turn-based is better. But it does make sense, of course, for D&D, right? Because D&D is a turn-based game to begin with. All of the rules are set up for turn-based stuff. And it's also pretty, in a way, certainly for somebody who is completely inept at computer games like myself, it's actually pretty nice if stuff like stealth has a turn-based element to it. Because I'm really bad at, like, you know, real-time maneuvering and stuff. Honestly, I think as long as you can do pause and change your orders, I think it's fine. There's a problem with full real-time because I tend to panic. Yeah, I get that. It does increase the stress level a little bit. But the pause part is important, right? If it were real-time without pause, it would be a whole different story. But I'm okay with the turn-based thing. I mean, since it's implementing 5e, it's a turn-based system. As long as they do a good job of implementing it. Now also, like, I mean, turn-based can be stressed enough in its own right. In recent times I've been playing a lot of chess. For some reason I got really into it. I have these, like, periods in my life that I super get obsessed about this or that hobby or kind of activity, and right now chess is a big one. But I'm really bad at it. I have a rating of like 800, so it's pretty crap. But then I play chess a lot online on chess.com. And, well, trust me, turn-based can be pretty stressful too when you're playing chess against real human beings. Do we ask another member of the team? Blah blah blah. Quits Bazaar. Need to stock up for our next job. No, I don't care about any of that. Am I missing something? I watched all the DVDs. Oh, maybe I need to look at the mission computer. That's probably the thing, right? Two unread messages. If you value new hardware coming into the Kreuzberg, we need to talk. One of my weapon shipments was hijacked by a local gang. I can promise 500 new yen and some new gear. Come see me for the details. Okay. Come see me at your earliest convenience. There's a matter we need to discuss. Okay, so this is the consistency of the world, where we just talked to both of those people and they don't say anything to me. Because I haven't actually read their message on the computer. That's not the best branching logic, guys. I just feel goofy any time. I feel I might not pause fast enough. I mean, it depends also how unforgiving the game is, right? Like, I've been playing a bunch of Tyranny at the request of someone else. I kind of paused it for a while because I wasn't super into it and I want to try a couple other things first, but I will probably return to it. But like Tyranny has real time with pause, but it's also quite easy, most of the combat. So I think it doesn't cause that much stress. But I do definitely remember some Baldur's Gate fights where you like have to pause basically all the time. But one of the important factors there is to have good auto pause settings, right? In Baldur's Gate it was a really major thing, and I think in Tyranny as well, that you set your auto pause settings really well. So on character attacked, on character injured, on enemy spotted, you know, on trap found. That's sort of the way to do it then. Because otherwise, yeah, it becomes just way too stressful. Jobs main, claim payment for humongous data steal. Payment details from client 22,500, deductions crew salary, ammunition 1,500, automatic deduction Alice funds 3,750. That's pretty good. You'll find a complete transcript of my conversation with Herr Schmidt, a potential client. Herr Schmidt provided me with a device to assist you on the run, a little black box. Be sure to take it with you. Call me Herr Schmidt. Very well. Simple matter, blah blah blah. AG Chemie Europa is working on a company-wide project, something very secret, very new. Keeping a working prototype. The employers want to have the prototype. The prototype is branded MK6. We find it on the 25th floor of the Berlin facility in the office of Albrecht Haushofer. Disabling building security. Go to the 24th floor. Team will be rewarded 20,000 nuyen. Make it 25, 22.5. Haushofer's office. Little black box. Go through the underground garage. Exit through the same garage. Is it garage? Garage. Maybe it's a British-American thing. Accept job? Yes, no. Yeah, that sounds fine to me. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the essential things in Baldur's Gate that I learned to do, was do auto-pause properly. But yeah, with turn-based, auto-pause is not an issue. And of course with turn-based you have a lot of tactical aspects. And Larian, of course, I mean, looking at Divinity, the Divinity games, which I also quite liked, even though they're very different in vibe and stuff. Larian has certainly also a reputation to defend in terms of effective tactical combat. Now, one thing I heard was that they used the environmental kind of combat factors, you know, that play such a big role in Divinity, where it's all about like interacting with the environmental elements and all that kind of thing. And that in the early access, the environmental stuff was a little bit too strong, so it kind of overpowered the normal D&D 5e mechanics, which, you know, really are meant to be center stage. So I've heard that in the main game they will tone them down a little bit, so that the balance is a bit better and the environmental stuff is just more like an extra. But I don't know how well that will combine, because like D&D doesn't normally by default have any environmental stuff, unless your DM is inclined that way. So we'll have to see how that works out. And the other thing I'm potentially worried about, I guess it's probably the thing I'm most potentially worried about personally, is that the fact that Larian's Divinity games were all kind of like, you know, the vibe was so different. The whole atmosphere was much more lighthearted. It was more, you know, kind of not taking itself completely seriously. There was a bit of like fourth wall breaking and stuff like that. Some people really liked it. Some people really didn't like it. There was very good writing, I thought, but it was definitely much more like, you know, like some of those D&D podcasts that are more about being wacky and having a fun time, but are a little less immersive from that point of view. And I would want Baldur's Gate to be very serious business, you know, because the first two games are, and I feel like the brand requires it. So I hope that they can get that tone right. I mean, Baldur's Gate had a lot of jokes and silly stuff in it, but it had that in it in a way that was part of like the sense of immersion. And they really need to get that tone right, and I think that's going to be the hardest challenge, to somehow reproduce that vibe from, you know, 1998, 2000 in a modern game. Blah blah blah. Message about the shipment. The gang for the nearby Keats has been hijacking shipments, taking money out of our pockets. We can't be having any of that. Your dear departed Monica used to provide encryption and information control. Now that she's gone, we have been having no end of trouble. The gang has been intercepting communications. Payment order, shipping manifests. Setting ambush. Yeah. Tracking device. I've tracked it to Gesundbrunnen. I used to live there. If you've never been there, it's a Keats built out of an old U-Bahn station and some old bunkers. The funny thing is there actually are old bunkers in Gesundbrunnen, so they're right about that. New gang called the Rabengeister is holed up in there. They really like putting some effort into the naming here. Go to the Gesundbrunnen, find the Rabengeister, get our goods back. Can offer you 500 new yen and better hardware. They're tricky, they have a reputation for disappearing without a trace. How do I get there? Just take the U-Bahn. Not many folks stop at Gesundbrunnen anymore. No, I wouldn't either, to be honest. Can't really recommend it. The market used to be something of a tourist attraction. There is a sizable market there, that's also true. Going light on this one. Take a friend along, no more than one. Okay, because it's a mini quest, so you get 2 people. You could trash the merchandise, go quiet, go soon. I'd say Larian should be up to the task, but it's still a difficult balance to manage. I can understand your worries. Yeah, I mean, that's not to say that I, you know, ahead of the facts think that it's going to be bad or something. I'm not being cynical about it, but there is a little nag at the back of my mind where I like worry that it might be a little off-putting compared. You know, it's going to be almost certainly a good game, if not a great game anyway, right? In its own right. The question is just, is it going to be a Baldur's Gate? Like that's a high bar. At least I feel like Larian have done a smarter job than CD Red Projekt did, right? Because after the obviously enormous and deserved success of The Witcher 3, every eye was on CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk game. And what did they do? They massively increased the hype. They really built up the hype even more when the expectations were already sky high. And then they couldn't live up to it. And people were like, well, you know, is this all? And that's just stupid. I mean, I understood it from a marketing point of view, but at the same time, when you're doing marketing, you also got to think about, like, not just the most immediate short-run benefits, right? And so I feel like Larian did a smart job of, like, actually toning down the expectations a little bit and holding off on the hype building and telling people, like, look, we're still working on it. It's going to be a different kind of thing. You know, that's better expectations management. You never played Baldur's Gate. I was into Fallout and Fallout 2. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people seem to split from the nostalgic RPGs between the Baldur's Gate crew and the Fallout crew. And I never played the Fallout games. I've seen them since. I've seen people play them. And I know a little bit about them also. And some of the streamers that I follow myself are big Fallout people. But I was definitely team Baldur's Gate at the time. Let's begin with the mini quest. Who do we take with us? The Iger is sort of the same sort of person as I am. I wonder wondering if going with glory would make the most sense. Actually, I think I might do that. Yeah, it does help, of course, if you don't have the incredible, ridiculous gamer nostalgia about Baldur's Gate. Then it is almost guaranteed to be a good game, right? Because Larian do know what they're doing. It's a short train ride to Gesundbrunnen. You exit a subway car, stepping onto the old grungy platform. Nothing has changed much in that regard then. The place is deserted, though signs of life are everywhere. A gaping hole in the ceiling filters cool, hazy light in from above. To your right, a small plot of crops struggles to endure in the cold and the limited light of the station. Trash and junk litters the platform. It's clear this place hasn't had anything resembling a janitorial staff in quite some time. Somewhere in this old rundown U-Bahn station lies the entrance to Gesundbrunnen Kiez, and hopefully some leads on the whereabouts of the Rabengeister and Gumari's missing shipment. Yeah, and I do agree with you that I thought both Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2 were very good games. I actually don't think I finished either of them, because they are very, very long. And I will say that I felt that they got a little samey after a while. But not necessarily in a negative way, but just in the way that I was like, okay, I'm 3/4 of the way in, I kind of get the idea. I might want to play other stuff, and then of course I never got back to finishing it. But I liked a lot of stuff about it. The tactical combat is really excellent. The writing is very good. The characterization is very amusing and actually worth exploring. The world is interesting and relatively original. Especially in 2, I think they did a really good job of that. And the real sense of freedom to make your own decisions that the game gives you is also quite an accomplishment. So that's all like stuff that you want for a D&D kind of game, right? So it makes kind of sense that they will do a good job. But boy, are my expectations high. Also, I'm going to have some more tea. 1 second. And also switch the light on as it's getting dark in here. Now, I only managed to finish it in a co-op with friends. It helps a lot to go through everything when you have company. Never finished it alone. Yeah, I think you're right about this. It's the people I've seen who, some of the people from the Discord have streamed it. And they were always doing it in groups of like 3 or 4 people playing it. And it does actually seem to lend itself really well to that. And kind of work better that way. Old fluorescent grow lights, blah blah blah, almost gone light. I really like these details again, right? It's like they actually thought about like, well, where does the agriculture come from? A little bit like the second, what's it called now? Blade Runner movie, where they also had this kind of stuff about the agriculture, and then they made like these little models of this little, these little cabbage crops and kale and stuff like that. I love the model work in this game, it's so good. Stairwell down looks to have completely collapsed. I mean, honestly, this doesn't look much worse than your average Berlin tube station looks right now. You can take my word for that one. It looks slightly better than the New York Metro, so there is that. That's far enough, friend. Young orc, uniforms. We don't get many visitors down here these days, and you'll forgive me for saying, but we don't really look like the type that usually comes through here. He looks fed, for one thing. Indeed. So what brings you to Gesundbrunnen, stranger? Oh, I have good Arabic food. My friend Hans said that the market here is second to none. I had to see it for myself. Well, maybe a few years ago that was true. These days, well, it's hard times all around, I suppose. You're welcome to go in, of course. Customers are always welcome. Don't talk to Quarring if you want to hear some good stories about the market back in its prime. He's always happy to share a tale or two. Watch your step on the ladder there. Some of the steps get slippery when it's cold. A gang, eh? No, we keep security pretty tight around here. If a gang like that was running stuff through here, we'd know about it. We don't want any trouble around here. Market's closing pretty soon anyway. Okay, so I have to pass 2 charisma checks in reverse order. Cool. Yeah, I should maybe try playing Divinity co-op with some people. Could be quite fun. But the thing is, I'm such an inveterate single-player gamer, you know? It's partially because I'm incredibly incompetent at games, and it becomes obvious when playing with other people. Partially because, like, you know, who likes interacting with other people, right? And also I'm quite used to playing strategy-type games that are single-player anyway. You know, it's quite impressive to do that on heels. A fox face on her headdress. Her classically nasal American accent is obvious. Hey kiddo, share a drink with me? If you're buying. Fortunately, there aren't a lot of options here. We've got beer, homebrew gin, and schnapps. German schnapps actually very good. I've been drinking gin and tonics. The tonic cuts out some of the gas flavor. I've been distilling in old propane tanks. Yeah. Well, I'll have a beer. Just traveling through. Heard there was a market, but just look at this place. So I'm just having a drink with this fine gentleman here and then moving on. California free states during the whole Europe tour thing, you know? Of course, in like even neo-cyberpunk dystopian future, the fucking Americans are still doing backpack tours. Getting me out of that hellhole has been a real good learning experience. Had some good fun. Made some good friends. But it's a hellhole everywhere these days. Can't drink enough to forget some things I've seen. I'm all for communism and anarchy and free love, but sometimes the F-state goes a little far. Just the things like the turf wars and the racists and junk. You know, like those humanist assholes. Unpleasant. But that shit aside, I like the idea of a state without the man. Next to my name's Goldfish. What's yours? Nice to meet you. Gotta have said my bit. What are you doing in a place like this? Raven ghosts. Might be anything here. Ghost of the past. Ghost trains. Ghostly thin folks pale for lack of sunlight. Hey now. I go outside once a week or so. I need sunlight too. I like to joke I photosynthesize, but it just gives me so much energy. Energy these people don't have anymore. Maybe I've been down here long enough. Maybe I'm a ghost too. Alright, Fräulein, that's it. You're officially cut off. Your total is 36 million. Wants to buy me something. Dude, chill. Forget I asked. Alright, so she's drunk apparently, although she seems strangely coherent for someone who's drunk. Correctly understands that you got a drink to be in Germany. Moldy soy cakes. That's fascinating. Here's our friend Quarren. Guten Tag, name's Quarren, friend. My home, blah blah blah. One of the grandest markets in the city. You could find anything in these stalls for the right price. I guess that's the way of the flux. That's cool. Shipment of weapons. Nope, nothing comes through here. Blah 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 blah. Can I do anything to help here? Thanks for the gesture. We heard the story of Schinderhannes. He was an outlaw centuries ago back in the Napoleonic days. He was a thief, a greedy one. They raided up and down the Rhine, but something happened. The people of the Rhine were inspired by Schinderhannes. Anytime they hailed him as a hero. Because he was stealing from the French, which is, to be fair, a very legitimate activity. Something surprising happened to Schinderhannes. I think because of this, he became the hero people wanted him to be. Blah blah blah. I think that maybe if enough people believe something to be true, it can change the truth of that thing. Perhaps if they have a hope to believing, our fate will change as well. Until then, well, we continue on. Oh, am I saying rude things about the French? Of course I didn't mean it like that. Actually, I quite like the French. Everybody's always dissing the French, but I'm kind of a Francophile, to be honest. I mean, compare them to like the Brits or the Americans. It should be obvious, right? Best option at the time. Won't abandon it. Anything else? Ever heard of the Rabengeister? Yes. They hijack freight out of Frankfurter Tor, and then you hear of a sighting down in Alexanderplatz. Never mind that you can see Alexanderplatz from Frankfurter Tor. I live very near there. Some member of the Rabengeister speed by in the U-Bahn tunnel clinging to the side of a train car. Yeah, I wouldn't try doing that. That's probably a gang called Surf Turf. Implant suction cups to their hands and feet. Okay, that is cool. That's a flux state for you though, full of the strange and unexpected. Like somebody in Berlin would do that. It's fine, I have a German friend who likes to do the same. I'm used to it. Well, look, I'm Dutch, right? So like in the coolness stakes, I'm never going to do all that well. Nobody really hates the Dutch, but nobody really likes the Dutch either. And that's also correct, because you shouldn't. The thing with the Dutch is what they will do is they will sell you stuff and then they will give you a moral lesson about it, and then they will look really smug and act like they were the morally upstanding one. I like Germans too though. I like German as a language. That's one other thing. Everybody is always maligning German, but it's because of, again, Americans. Everything is the fault of Americans really, but this is also the fault of Americans because they watch war movies. And then they're like, German is always such a harsh language and so guttural and everybody's yelling all the time. And it's like, yeah, if you didn't only hear German in Nazi movies, maybe it would sound a little nicer. Do you just mistake the Dutch and the Germans? I mean, I have a bad button here, I'm just saying. Or presumably I do. I mean, exciting and rare weapons, instruments of death that you will not find elsewhere in Berlin. You mean currywurst? Decidedly poor, bad pistol. Slapdash pistol, okay. Which is $2,000, so there's clearly something going on with this. Like tasers are actually kind of halfway decent weapons in this game. Submachine gun, grenade. I used a grenade, didn't I? I always buy a grenade. Where did that grenade go? It's not here. Well, sure. What's up with the shoddy looking pistol? Exquisite, is it not? And work of a master craftsman. Fortunately, the finest slug throwers you'll find this side of the Atlantic. Let me have a closer look at it. Okay. You don't really learn anything from a closer look. Lean pickings, blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. That's interesting, but not interesting enough. It is true, the Dutch are chill. They're kind of rude, but they're also chill. I always prefer saying direct, but I was, a couple days ago, I was at a party with a couple of people from different countries, and there was a British guy who spent a couple of years in the Netherlands there. And he made the argument that Dutch people like to say that they're direct, but it's actually cover for the fact that they're legitimately just rude. And I think he was very surprised that I agreed with him, because it's actually true. Dutch people are also pretty rude a lot of the time. Like, nobody in the Netherlands has, like, any kind of pro-social instinct of any kind. Nobody ever shuts up in the quiet carriage. Nobody ever picks up their dog poop. Nobody ever does, like, you know, anything that's good for maintaining anything. It's kind of, it's a little too individualist for its own good in that regard. Would have noticed that. Doesn't know anything about it. Heard of the Rabengeister? Don't ask questions about such things here. So she does know what they are. So here's some crates that don't seem to be part of the shipment that was en route. There are some scuff marks. Oh, we're doing some detectiving here. I always like a bit of detectiving. A small seam in the wall that suggests there might be a passageway hidden in the wall here, but no mechanism for opening it. We should ask around. Can she do it? Yeah, Glory's pretty strong. What does the info terminal say? Primary database not found, restarting offline mode. Data corrupted, data corrupted. Station history. April 18... Ah, we get actual Gesundbrunnen station history. Opening April 18, 1930 is the final stop along the U-Bahn U8, which does in fact go to Gesundbrunnen. It was designed by prominent U-Bahn architect Alfred Gringander. The Allgemeine Elektrizitätsgesellschaft, that is AEG, which you probably know from making white goods and stuff like that. First World War put it on hold, as with a lot of development of the U-Bahn. Eventual completion opening at the home line between Neukölln and Gesundbrunnen represent a major step in connecting Berlin's working class districts to the city center. Yeah, unfortunately Moab Beach still doesn't really have a good, or not as many good U-Bahn connections, but the Gesundbrunnen area is pretty decently covered now. With Gesundbrunnen also having an S-Bahn station. Maybe they will talk about that also. World War II, many unfinished tunnels and stations were converted into air raid shelters, including part of the station. Also an emergency fallout shelter in the event of a nuclear attack. Yeah, there's actually the park near Gesundbrunnen has 2 artificial hills in it, and those artificial hills are actually the flak towers, as well as a bunch of rubble that was there. And you can still see that in the Humboldt-Hain. The U8 line continued to run between Neukölln and Gesundbrunnen, taking it under the wall and through parts of East Berlin. It would skip all the East Berlin stations until it would come out on the far side. Today it continues to operate, thousands of passengers. Former bunker has been transformed into popular museum history, showcasing the history of Berlin's underworld, which is true. You can actually, there is a tunnel entrance near the Gesundbrunnen station, and you can sign up with like to get tours of like the underground. I think it's called Berliner Unterwelten or something like this. If you're ever doing like generic modern tourism stuff, you know, you're interested in war history and Cold War stuff and so on, it's pretty worthwhile. That's kind of cool. So they have some real actual Berlin info in there. Route information, there is no for button. Custom query. Script filled with no reference hatch. Okay, thanks. And what's here? Here's a bathroom. Area is in extreme disrepair. Yeah. Okay, this looks like we should save it. Hello everybody, I'm sure you don't mind me being here. That's the same man. You should have stuck to the market, stranger. If the Rabengeister wished to be found, we'd open a fucking cafe. Only one of us. Say your piece. Huh, guess we were a little careless on that one. I figured with Monica Schaefer gone, the Kreuzbazaar would be an easy score. Is that why you're here? We stole your supplies, now you want them back? Sounds about right. Unfortunately, we need those supplies more than you do, so we'll have to graciously decline your offer to relieve us of your property. Yeah, I can see that it's hard, but so it is for us. Look, that's gonna lead for bloodshed, I'll tell you what. Like, you know what it's like to look out for keats like this. It's not easy, right? We provide for these people. It's our home, these are our people. I'm prepared to let you leave just like that, knowing our little secret here and everything, and all you need to do is walk away. Forget this ever happened. That seems like a bad idea, yeah, why don't we just help each other? That seems like a better deal. So you return our supplies, we send you a shipment of extra rations. In exchange, we agree to a truce. Food is in short supply around here. There's alliance. We stay out of each other's way. We find opportunities to help each other out. Alright. Your medical supplies are already mostly gone, I'm afraid, but the weapons shipment is still being held in Lockhart, Frankfurt, or Tor. Have it sent back to the Kreuzbazaar. And you'll deliver those rations. Go to talk to Paul Umsol, tell him I sent you, and he'll take care of the rest. Aren't we nice brokers? Glad we could have this talk. Are we going now? Although I will also be looking at what's going on here. Can we talk to them? We can actually talk to them. Want a beer? Yeah, let's have a beer. We get a cold one and we remove a cold one. So we're basically having a cold one with the lads. What more can you expect from a game? That's what life is all about, right? Being in an abandoned U-Bahn station, drinking a cold beer. Actually, Germans overrate their beer a little bit, in my opinion. That's probably one of my hottest takes living in Germany, is that, like, Germans think their beer is better than it is. It's not that it's bad, but they really think it's amazing, and it's not that amazing. It's good, but it's okay. An even hotter take is that I think British beer is better. But it's also because I don't drink lager, I'm more of a, you know, an ale dork, right? I'm sure if you go for like light beers all the time, for like Weizen or what have you, or other light beer, the German beer is probably better than the British, because the British have terrible lager, but I wouldn't really, I don't know. It also doesn't get much better than that in Germany. Exactly, Belgium's the place. See, you understand it. Belgium, that's where the good beer is at. God, they should have some like Belgian cafe type places here in Berlin. I'm sure that they do. There are a couple of like good beer cafes anyway, but it should be easier to get that kind of stuff. Like in the Netherlands, you get Belgian beer everywhere, and that's the really good stuff. The Dutch beer is kind of whatever, but the Belgian beer, now we're talking. But again, I'm a drinker of darker, heavier beers by preference. I like a light beer in summer, but... Or if I go dancing, of course, I'll have lighter stuff, but I would rather have a cocktail anyway. Well, the problem with lager is it makes you so gassy and it doesn't really taste of anything. I don't really like it. Also makes you pee all the time. You emerge from the U-Bahn station and out into the familiar streets of the Kreuzbazaar. The energy here is a stark contrast to the weary, slowly drowning mood of Gesundbrunnen. The Kreuzberg is an island of hope, afloat still amidst the dangerous currents of the flux state. But it wouldn't take much for it to capsize. It's time to find Gungari and tell him the news. That it is. I hope you can't hear how squeaky my chair is. I feel like I could do with a bit of an oiling. When I was still drinking beer, I'd go for darker beers too. It always ended up a better experience. Yeah, I guess it also depends like what your goal is, right? I mean, if you talk to Brits, then the goal is to get drunk as fast as possible. And of course they won't drink like good beer. But if that is not your goal, if your goal is to actually have a good life and enjoy yourself, then you got to be with the dark beers. Occasionally like a light beer is nice with dinner or something, but I mostly drink socially anyway. I don't really drink much at home. They won't be hijacking our shipments anymore. He knows it already. How are you able to manage that? I made an arrangement. He doesn't like the diplomacy, but that's too bad for him. And we get new merchandise. So we get better stuff. I like better stuff. See if he has a better rifle. He does, but I don't have enough ranged combat for it, which is unfortunate. I need ranged combat 6. Do I have enough karma for that? I do not. Well, I guess in that case we're going to talk to our friend the Doctor Man. If I can find the way. Yeah, the nice thing about like Belgians also is like if you know how to drink them, you can take your time with them, right? Which is also a problem you have in Britain, because like all the pubs close really early, but that's not the case here or in the Netherlands. And so, you know, it's nice you can stay out late, you drink a couple of heavy beers, you don't have to take it fast. You just, you know, you get a 7 or 8% or 10% beer or what have you, and then you just drink it over the course of an hour and a half. It's a pretty good experience. Yeah, exactly. Light beer is often better with meals, with food, because especially if the food is already carby, you don't necessarily want to have something super heavy, and it better supports the flavor. I agree with that. So what do you want, our Basque friend? It's a Basque elf. Can you imagine that? I am the right man for the job. Why? Your reputation. Investing time in what you do, full stop. Okay, I don't like you, you don't like me. But I want to get rich. Sure. Before I immigrated here from my native Spain, indeed, as the name indicates, I worked in partnership with a Berlin-based R&D lab. Biotech was very hush-hush. I would bankroll their research and they would provide me with unique merchandise. In my clinics, you had more than one. I was something of a celebrity doctor. I had a chain of triage clinics that stretched from Bilbao to Madrid. I was a very wealthy man. And then my name was slandered. Public perception turned against me. The injustice, it's too much to bear. Theft, medical malpractice, sale of stolen goods. I came here to Berlin to escape all of that, but also to be close to the lab that I funded. I need to get the merchandise and find out what happened to the lab itself. The facility is locked down and we don't know why. Merchandise is inside. The Turk Ulti has been running surveillance on this site. No one has entered, no one has left. Whatever went wrong in there must have killed the research team. Ooh, that sounds kind of creepy. It's like a horror run. Paid the lease for a decade in advance. It was a huge expense. Locked away inside the lab is worth it. When did you talk to Monica? I did, but Monica didn't like him either. What's in it for me? But he doesn't have any money left. You can get first crack at any biotech you recover from the site and you can get it for a discount. That sounds pretty crap. Top of the line where? And because it's biotech, you don't get essence lost. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, sure, why not? We're going 100% the game or what have you. The former laboratory of Zuterlin Bioscience. Go to Adenauerplatz. Oh, we really get a tour of Berlin. I quite like that. They're all like real places with real U-Bahn stops. They clearly looked at an U-Bahn map and just picked a couple. I wonder if they went to Berlin for this at all, or whether they just sat in Seattle designing this game and just were like, hey, let's Google the Berlin map. I wouldn't blame them. And I have no idea whether the places in Hong Kong are real that they describe. I assume so, but I don't know anything about Hong Kong. I've never been there. That explains the pre-IE language. Yeah, exactly, right? That's what I was thinking. The Basque elf is pretty much as much a legacy as it can get. You know, who better to explain the ergative than an elf? Okay, let's do the lab. We can pick a normal amount of runners this time. So of course we'll have our usual crew. I mean, Blitz is kind of not the guy, so we're just going to have our normal crew and do the usual. Although now that you reminded me of IE languages, I want a conlang again. So many hobbies and so little time. How am I supposed to do all of it? I guess being unemployed will help with that. The ride to the Adenauerplatz is a dismal one. Your only company in the train is an elderly dwarf in a ragged peacoat, and he spends most of his time muttering to himself. When the train rattles to a stop, he slowly rises from his perch and begins to hobble toward the doorway. The station itself isn't much different. An old broken down thing at the end of its useful life, feebly tottering towards obsolescence. This area of Berlin has clearly seen better days. A window of light shines down from the surface, and even that looks still. Slowly you begin to climb. Look, is there any part of Neo-Berlin that's nice? I would say Adenauer Platz is a really boring, generic neighborhood. Also, it's named after Adenauer, so it can't be any good anyway. I have karma available. Yes, I'm aware that I have karma available, but I don't have enough karma for what I want. Keats has seen better days. Economic depression, faded glory. Maybe the lesson that they're trying to teach is that our anarchists don't know how to run the economy. Fortress-like, seemingly impregnable facility. The windows have been shuttered. Sinister appearance. I wonder what happened in here. That's a cheerful thought. Come on, boss, let's get this over with. Alright, let's do it. But first, another sip of tea. And I need to sit properly in my chair. It's so hard to have good posture. Also, by the way, once again a reminder to get the complete Shadowrun OST from the first game, the second game and the third game by John Everest. One of the absolute best game soundtracks of any game that I've ever heard. I like it so much that I play it all the time. Like, I'm not even someone who listens to video game music all that much. But this is just, this is it. And he deserves some support, I think. You can also find him on Twitter. At least you could. I don't know if he's still around nowadays, but... So go and talk to him and tell him how good his stuff is. Fetid waves of stench. Sounds like... Ye gods, that's rank. I'll stay back here if you don't mind. Steam could be coming from a greater vent under the pile. Yeah, let's check that out. Oh, so we can take the back entrance. Door is sealed tight. Dirt, dust, grime. No one has been through here. Hydraulic jacks are pretty solid looking. Can we force the door? Probably not, right? Iger does it. Nope. If Iger can't do it, nobody can do it. Is there anything else here? There's a couple of dudes hanging out. As dudes tend to do. You know. Gotta hang out with the bros. There's a little cafe thing here. Ooh. And there's a data jack. But of course we don't have our Decker with us. That's probably the other method you can use. Well, I guess the vent it is. Small HVAC vent. A dwarf might be able to fit, but nothing larger. Okay, that's a little complicated. Do we have a dwarf here? We do not. We can search the dumpsters because we're really in Berlin now. Rotten food, used prophylactics, pretty vile. Okay, bunch of lab key cards, but they've been snapped in half. Half-rotted diapers. Ugh. An ancient chicken carcasses. Bleh. Touch plastic. What do you find? There's a key card. It's disgusting. CSTDN. Okay. It's a labor in vain to wipe the slime of the dumpster off your head. A group of transients are staring at you. Woman takes a step towards you. Hey, that's our dumpster. Frag off, chum nuts. On second thought, maybe we'll frag you off. You know, you're gonna be nice to the homeless, right? So give them some money. I'm not gonna like shoot a bunch of homeless people, come on. We've got bigger fish to fry anyway. Alright, in we go. Time to save and save often, of course. Ever since all the bugs I had in Shadowrun Returns, I'm a little more paranoid about saving, although this game has held up pretty bug-free so far. So I think we shouldn't have too much trouble. Never do anything right. Looks in surprisingly good state for something that's been sealed off for ages. The animal testing wing of Suterling Bioscience. Something tells me we're going to have some mutant creepy things on us. Hellhound, yeah, there we go. A basilisk. Invasive test procedures performed in a kennel of hellhounds. They were less convinced that working with dangerous fire-breathing animals would yield useful results than the executives were. A rare albino, I guess, basilisk, acquired from an exotic animals dealer in Portugal. What won't those darned Portuguese sell you? Isn't that guy in Tintin Portuguese? You know, Oliveira da Figueira, who, wearing Tintin says, if you don't watch out, you'll buy the strangest things. I like quoting that, except in Dutch. Blah blah blah. An attempt to create a magically active piece of bioware. Why a basilisk is not explained. Bunch of thoracic surgeries. Sounds like a bad time overall. Also, I hope you can hear the music, because the music is very good. You climb down. There's a clearance A panel, a clearance B panel. Quite a lot of stuff going on here for a side quest. Scientific terminal. Okay, inventory control, Orchem, tissue banks, breakdown, replication, other stuff. Standard organs are being grown, mass-produced fat-grown meta-human organs. Universal Omnitech, Shiawase, Proteus, Biogene. Achieves a shocking level of success of producing generic versions of a wide variety of commercial restricted Bioware products. Well, that's good, right? Knockoff products were commissioned by an outside investor and have been moved into cold storage. So we need to get these, I guess. Organs waiting in cold storage, high-end security level enhancements, tens of thousands of million. He could undercut all of his competitors and still making an ungodly profit. That all sounds very legitimate. Oh, the sound is low? Well, then we need to up it for a sec. I mean, the sound is also, it does go up and down a little bit, and this is one of the subtler tunes. But I can up the main volume a little bit. More like so. It'll just be a little louder than when we have a louder tune. Special projects. Invasive testing on awakened animals. Listings for a number of hellhounds. Medical histories. A subject named Billy, but who or what Billy might have been has been left undisclosed. Something tells me that we're going to be encountering Billy later. Let's go through the door. Is there anything else to check out here? Doesn't look like it. Very well. Clearance level B. Yeah, I don't assume we have the necessary clearance. Executive clearance. Lock has been overridden by a local computer on the network. Okay. So I guess we get a sewer level. We already had a sewer level, we have another sewer level. Fortunately, everybody loves those. Is there anything in here? Hooray, 62 yen. That's really going to add up. Can almost buy yourself groceries for that these days. So how do we get here is the question, really. And the answer is very carefully. Yeah, still just clearance B. That doesn't help us very much. So I guess we go the long way around. Say we were going the long way around. Okay. Automated drone. So now the music will be a little louder. But let me know if it's too much. Do I have line of sight from here? I'm not convinced. No, I do. It's fine now. Okay, thanks. Thanks for letting me know. That is always helpful. Wow, lost 2 AP and he'll still move. That's interesting. Oh, there's another thing. An automated drone here as well. Let's not have you get shot to shreds quite yet. I think it's time for your shotgun. Annoying. Oh, come on. Well, that's not a great start. Do I have cover here? I do, right? Yeah. Not very much cover though. There's something to be said for going here instead. So Gloria's taking a little damage, but she should be okay. And here comes Iger, and let's hope this goes a little better. And it does. That's more like it. Their friendly grenade thrower is a little annoying, not gonna lie. So that's easy, and then I don't have any line of sight there. Great. These plastic chairs are understandably not a lot of cover. Can you imagine a knocked over plastic chair giving any cover? Do I have cover for a line of sight from here, maybe? Not sure. Well, that's not great. A little better. That was worth a shot, quite literally. Alright, time to shotgun these guys out of existence. There we go. Not great, not terrible, as they say. Door override terminal. Let's unlock the door remotely. That seems like a great idea. That's basically like a Skyrim door, I guess. What do we have here? Another 76 million for some reason. Whoa. A wild-eyed young man in a tattered lab coat. Bare patches of skin. You there, who are you? Good lord, what is that gut-churning stench? Well, so what's this dumpster? No matter, I will suffer through it for the good of my realm. As for you, foul vagrant, how dare you enter my domain? Abandoned? This is my territory, my home. You're an invader in my territory, elfling, and you have murdered my peasantry. We've got a live one here, boss. You are a murderer, a monster. You will pay. I am Philip Rex, Knight King of Zutalim Bioscience. How have you banished for your transgressions, elfling? Banished to the underworld, and left to the ravages of the all-powerful Billy. Hold still while I fetch the robots that will banish you. No, they wouldn't do that. They were gentle and kind. You're an outsider. You don't understand the bond of trust and respect that we shared. I did my best to make life good for the peasantry. I scrubbed their plastic cases on a daily basis, and I crooned pleasing melodies to ease their troubled minds. But those days are over now. My peasants are dead. You destroyed something beautiful. Oh, well, that changes everything. Perilous quests and civilian casualties go together like chocolate and peanut butter. I can't stay mad at you for that. Tell me about this quest of yours, good elfling. Leave nothing to the imagination. You have my rapt attention. The executive wing? Madness. Take this as a warning, noble stranger. If you intend to forge your way into that land of milk and honey, you do so at your own peril. The underworld stands between you and your goal, and the underworld is home to the murderous Billy. Was is right. Now he is so much more. A creature of legend. Years of experimentation have remade the beast into the ultimate killing machine. He is smarter than 10 men and 5 times as deadly. Very well, stranger. If you can't be dissuaded, I will help you. This is my most prized possession, the incomparable keycard B. Using this, you can descend to the underworld and face Billy. If you should survive the encounter, search for the long-missing keycard E. Use it to reopen the executive wing, and I will see to it that you are richly rewarded. Yeah, I do like doing voices. I'm not exactly a voice actor, but I always find it amusing to do silly voices. Some people find it very cringe to listen to, but that makes it all the more fun. Because cringing people out is very amusing. Ah, my god, his peasantry doesn't attack us. Like the good feudal pawns that they are, they listen to their liege lord. Is there anything in here? Okay, security system. Episodes 1 through 6 of an old Slovakian period fantasy series called Night Kings of Lightninghold have been saved to the machine's desktop. Aha. I've heard of that show. Supposed to be horrible. I mean, really, really bad. Never watched it myself, but I've heard that it made Neil the Orc Barbarian look like high art. Honestly, that makes me want to watch it now. Okay, Philip is engaged in animated discussion with someone who's standing outside camera range. Look, we've survived this long. If we play our cards right and do a proper bit of rationing, I reckon we can live off the executive snack bar for a long time to come. Plenty of fat and sugar, we got nuts for protein, diet bars. Rescued before we run dry. You're fooling yourself, ignoring an unpleasant truth rather than facing it. Snacks are great and all, but they can't be our staple food stuff. We need something more substantial. We look after our crops, we always have food to eat. We have supplies on hand to keep the tissue cultures growing indefinitely. Growing meat for our own survival. Meta-human meat. Synthetic hearts and livers of kidneys. Talk about eating people parts. Well, you're gonna have to. You eat choline, you eat your COQ10, I don't know if that's a real thing. Vitamin D, bioavailable iron, all true. We're in Berlin, Heiger. Who is coming? Maybe years. You're talking about cannibalism. Talking about eating meat. I mean, if you ask certain people, it's the same thing, right? But Philip listlessly chewing on an identical hunk of cooked meat. I'm going now, Phil. No more arguments, okay? I'll kill that fucking thing, you'll see. That basilisk is going down. Coenzyme Q10 is one of those popular supplements for heart health or whatever. Okay. Fair enough. See, I wasn't sure if this firstly was a real thing and secondly whether you actually need it or it was just like future discoveries are going to reveal that we need this or whatever. Ah, it's the Knights theme tune, which is very weird because it's at the end of the OST and then you have all this cool cyberpunk music and then it has this. And it has this like JRPG tune. Cheap synthesized music. That's a little bit of rude to John Everest. Smooth baritone voicing to the phrasing Slovak, okay. Night Kings of Lightninghold. I, Titonius Rex, will defend my realm. I do so swear it before my magic sword, Argongar. This I do swear. I mean, that's actually not bad fantasy, right? Because it doesn't have an apostrophe in it. So it can't be the worst fantasy. An alarmingly breathy elvish voice. But Tritonius, the Gibbethung hordes will smite you if you stay. The people in that valley are only peasants. You needn't throw your life away for them. Flee with me into the enchanted wood of Tralashin. Please make this stop. My life is sworn to protect those peasants, she-elf. Run back to your enchanted trees if you will, but a Night King will never flee. But Tritonius, you cannot die. I love you. Then go to your father and beseech him to rally his elf troops southward. For if Tritonius Rex falls, Lightning-Hold will fall, and Lightning-Hold will not fall. There's a certain logical sequence there, right? Are all the acting qualities roughly on par with you expect from a primary school Christmas pageant? Hey, I'm a good voice actor. Okay, standing in the corner again, watching Night Kings of Lightning-Hold. But father, Tritonius Rex is risking his life, nay, his very soul, to defend Lightning-Hold from the Gibbethons. His enchanted sword Argongar feeds upon his honor and bravery, and it seeks to transform him from a noble Night King into an evil demon lord. My darling daughter, this is why I cannot send my troops. Your beloved Tritonius Rex walks the knife's edge between light and darkness every time he draws a devil blade from its scabbard. It is long past time that you learned the truth about me, Brangathe. For I was the one who trapped Demon Lord Karabork within that blade. But father, you can't mean... Yes, my daughter, I was the one they called Thunder Spear, the sworn enemy of Tritonius Rex's people, the Hongar barbarian tribe. But then all of this is your fault. The Gibbethons, the threat to my beloved soul, all of it. It was the only way to save Tralashin, my darling daughter. Tralashin, and your mother, whom I hid away when you were but a girl. She's still alive, Brangathe. And then he pets the security drone. Ah, he's dancing with one of the security drones, twirling and riding across the laboratory floor. He looks very happy. I really feel that we shouldn't disturb this man. He seems very pleased. He has nice fantasy to watch and he can dance with security drones. Okay, and then the security protocols go off. I admire your bravery, noble vassal, but this is my fight. I, Philip Rex, will defend this land with my life. Indeed, with my very soul. Please clear the area. Hostiles inbound. No, noble spirit. It is you who must... I repeat, clear the area. Hostiles inbound. Maybe you're right. I'm already a Night King. Perhaps it is your time to shine. I will not rob you of this moment of glory. I will allow you your moment in the sun. And when you return victorious, I will grant you lands and titles to reward your heroism. Please clear the area. Yeah, right? This is kind of like goals. This man is leading the ultimate hikikomori life. He has infinite beef jerky. He has fantasy crap to watch. He can live his own fantasy life without anybody making fun of him for being a LARPer. And, you know, he has some drones for company. I feel like it's a pretty good setup. You see, I don't actually remember doing this quest ever before, so this is all fairly new to me. But we now have security clearance B, the famous MacGuffin. And with this item of legend and lore, we shall make our way forth towards... Is it the executive realm? No. We have to go this way first. And we shall also most legendarily save it, so that our epic quest shall not be foiled by the vile tricks of Billy, and so on and so forth. Oh wait, oh, too late. Hang on a second. I saw that. There's an advanced medkit. And what is this? I don't even know what it is, nor do I care. Oh, that's a drone kit thing. That's not useful anyway. Safe is locked at similar key swipe. That's a little bit weird, but sure. Oh, it's a schematic for the auto-injector. That's nice. That still doesn't seem to get me much further, though. So I guess now we go downstairs and then use the security B entrance there. I was over here, right? Save and save often. Alright, let's be ready to meet Billy. Ah, there he is. With a couple friends. Hi Billy, how are you doing? Oh, he's got a lot of hit points. Glory, inject yourself once more. Can you tangle with this guy? You probably can. Of course you miss. Because why wouldn't you? That's a bit better. Now, how do we get I going here? Oh boy. A lot of AP damage. I'm a lot more worried about AP damage than I am about regular damage. So she can't do anything, which is a bit unfortunate, to say the least. He can't haste, which would be quite handy right now. Give him a ley line, that's certainly one option. You can also throw his throwing knife. Nice. Can't move. Should probably use that ability more often than I do. So I've got amazing amounts of chance to hit here. But if I hit, I crit. Oh, great. Oof, rough stuff. I kind of forgot that they had a ranged... These regular guys have ranged damage as well. That was not very handy. Still haven't got a whole lot I can do here. Throw a grenade, but I don't think it's terribly useful. They have a better chance of hitting, I guess. Or not. Also a possibility. Yeah, you should go heal yourself and probably need some cover of some kind. Alrighty, that is survivable at least. Oh god, I have to reload as well. Kind of in an awkward position here. No, a shot for nothing. Nope. Didn't do it. I suspect our best bet is to try and take Billy down as soon as possible. You can try and deal with this guy. It should freeze him for a little while, so now he can't do anything, which is what we'd like to see. You use your shotgun on our friend. It might actually hit Glory as well. Glory can take it, right? Alright, rip Billy. Rip to those who died. Of course you then miss. Ow. Yeah, that was less good. You have a lot of damage? No, neither do you. Okay. Where can I put myself? Usefully, not really all that much. Forgy should give that one better hit chance, it's just mad. Seems fair, right? Not even back up anywhere useful either. Why don't you go over here? Especially since the fire goes very well with my hair. I'll give him that, but still not ideal. Our friend here is immobilized, which is good. And dead, which is better. And you can actually see anyone. I'm getting here. It's assuming you can deal with him. Ah. Well, that's what you get for missing. Cripes. Actually less worried about Billy than about these things. Guess I should switch to my AK really. Hmm. Hmm. Nice. Missed where it counted. I feel like I didn't really optimize that combat very well, but it's the results that count. And our friend Billy somehow carries his executive keycard with him. I don't know how or... Well, let's not ask too many questions, shall we? Can we get some nice dialogue out of our man? You're back. Is Billy dead? Have you retrieved the long-lost keycard E? You have it. My keycard. My ticket back into the hallowed halls of the executive wing, with its expansive supply of non-perishable treats. Hurry, noble stranger. Use it to unlock the door and make all of our dreams come true. Yeah, it's, honestly, I could do with a treat. Time to get ourselves some Africa-flavored crisps and other nice things that they sell in Germany. Don't ask. You don't want to know. The gates, they have finally opened. Of course he's going to get himself killed now, right? Or not. Thank you, my friend. You have granted me the secret desire that my heart yearned for most. A respectable supply of non-organ-based foods. You will always be welcome in these hallowed halls. I, Philip Rex, do so swear it. It is my life. My entire life. My reason for being. Oh dear. We're going to upset his mind. I don't know if we should do that. You are saying that there's more? I had always thought that they had left the ending to the imagination, like a beautiful dream. But now the dream is over. I will never know peace until I have seen this conclusion for myself. You must help me. You must find a way to show me the final episode. I need it. No, stranger, I cannot leave this place. I'm its sworn protector, and I will not shirk my responsibilities. I will suffer, as Titonia's Rex suffered when he sent Bragathe back to Tralasheen. This is my burden to bear. Mine? But I cannot leave. I can't abandon my kingdom, not even for my heart's greatest desire. Responsibility is what being a Night King is all about. I do, my friend, I do. After I have fortified myself with healthful snacks, I will assemble a fellowship of stalwart peasants and elevate them to the knighthood. In number they will be 7. 7 Night Thanes of Zutalim bioscience, questing in service of their Night King. They will find the lost episode, this I swear. They will retrieve the glorious episode 7 and return it to its rightful place, and they will hew in twain the heathen dogs who seek to hoard its magnificence for themselves. I will, my friend, I will. But first, I will indulge in sugary snacks. No, it's BioWare. Pretty standard stuff. Paying editors, trauma dampers, Earth the Skin, you know, things like that. Yes, that's right. Knockoffs. Dangerous work. Illegal most places, but not here in Berlin. Our investor needed it that way. Yes, too risky. Here in Berlin, no problems with the law, because there is no law. Just have to be careful. All found out then, though. Our copies were good, but who cares? It's all just meat in the end. Go right ahead, fill your pockets, take whatever you like. I, on the other hand, will avail myself of this snack bar. A calamitous series of events. It began with a spilled cup of soy calf and ended in terror and blood. Very well. I think it's funnier this way if he doesn't explain it. Exactly, he has to descend into death and return, and he has to return to the place that he came from, but he will have to be too changed, so that he can no longer be the person that he was. And preferably this has to be at about 3/4 of the story that his darkest point comes. Oh wait, I would almost leave without the actual stuff. Hang on. Alright, that is that done. The adventure with the Knights of Legend. Having a little bit of fun with the voice acting there. Clearly the writers of the game had a little bit of fun here too. Veritable wall of security personnel. Manning an expensive stew to raises a megaphone to shout at you. You! Stay right where you are! You will place the stolen Bioware samples that you're carrying on the ground, lying on your belly with your hands on your head. Escobar, you mean? Yeah, we know all about him. With Shiawase Street scum, and that material infringes on 15 of our company's patents. The organs you're carrying are based on our intellectual property. You think it was a coincidence? We came when the quarantine was broken. It's cheaper to set up a camera than it is to mount a hazmat cleanup effort. As long as the counterfeit merchandise was contained, we didn't carry what's in there, but it will not hit the streets. Alright. I guess we got a last round of fighting. He was a little rude to give me a free hit for 26, if I may be so bold. These guys are not strictly next to each other, I think. She always misses that first one. Oh well. Now you gotta get out of here too. Because this is a little bit too much of a killing floor for my taste. Yeah, pretty good cover. There's a lot of dudes here. Whoa. Take it easy. It's not the most favorable odds I've ever seen. I will tell you that for free. I forgot to give her the adrenal thing. That's not good. You go heal yourself. Can you go anywhere? Not really anywhere useful. So might as well just attack her. Okay, Igar's got somebody right here. Whoa. Ha! He lost control, so now they're attacking him. That's helpful. Although we'll still have to deal with it ourselves too. Okay, so the odds are slowly turning in our favor, but it's still not amazing. Kinda still want to kill you. Glory's doing okay. Probably best off doing dual attack on you two. You have 3 AP left. Okay, that's quite a bit. As a matter of fact, the mage is not going to do very much. Hide behind the bin. What can Dietrich do? How about... Yeah, it's worth a shot. Now, Igar took a solid hit. But she can handle a little bit. Let's give this a go. Well, they're sure keeping each other busy. Meanwhile, I can reload. Can I heal myself? I don't actually know if that will do anything. That doesn't look like it. That sounded impactful. move. That's good. Why don't you give yourself a medium ley line? Well, never tried that before, so I might as well use it. Oh, that hits. That's what we like to see. You're out in the open. Come on. Ah! 78%. You go buff Iger. Iger, you kill that person with a lot of drama. No, that's gonna shoot Glory. I don't like that. How do you manage to miss that? Need to reload again. Thunk. That's him done for. There we go. Well, that looked worse than it was. Cry of jubilation sounds over the intercom system. An incredible victory, my friend! You have cleared a path to the Jubuthum hordes for the Fellowship of Zooterling Bioscience to begin their quest. I will not need luck. My night things will prevail, for Providence is on our side. Yeah, I'm sure that it is. Don't engage with him. Just let him hang on to his little fantasy. We need to get out of here before these Bioware samples thaw. Farewell, stalwart elfling. We will remember you always. Let's zoom out a little. Well, that was the adventure of the Knights Errant of Zooterling Bioscience. Zooterling sounds Swiss. This is basically what happens when you trust a Swiss. The U-Bahn trip back from the Adenauer Platz is a shaky one. Surprisingly, the train is packed. The only empty seats are at the very back of the car. A haggard-looking young mother marches down the aisle, dragging her 3 screaming children behind her. 2 boys and a girl, each around 6 years old. As the woman nears you, her eyes fix on the frozen pouches of bioengineered meat that you liberated from Zooterling's executive freezer. She opens her mouth to say something, but at that moment the little girl jams a finger into her brother's nose. The boy howls and the young mother's shoulders slump. Slowly, robotically, she turns back towards her destination and begins to trundle forward, dragging her squalling offspring forward with the solemnity of a funeral procession. Eventually, the train hums to a stop. You debark gratefully, lugging a freezer's worth of Bioware samples behind you. Maybe this is them making fun of Bioware Studios. You never know. Excellent. So we did our little quest for our little man. Now we can give him his ill-earned Basque gains. We can pay him in fished cod and cider. Basque cider is very good, actually. I had some at this party the other day. It's very nice. Further improved by the fact that it has Basque on the back. I do, it is right here. Good work. There we go, monetary compensation, but I'll add the samples to my inventory. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, the Shiawase Corporation were on this. They engineered his downfall, supposedly. They won't take any direct action against the Kreuz Bazaar. Well, the researcher survived. He's going insane. He thinks it's called something called a Night King. How tragic. At least it's paid through 2061. Money's already spent. I can't get a refund, and I don't want to pay the cleanup costs. Your little friend wants to play out his fantasies in there. Is more than welcome. See? And all's well as ends well. That is just what we want. And to make things better is I have the... I think now the necessary karma to actually give myself the ranged combat improvement, or at least prepare the ranged combat improvement, because you're yeah, either that or I should spend it here actually. Oh yeah, I needed 6, right? On this one, yeah, I need another 6 karma points. Oh, because this cannot be any higher than that. So either I improve this or I improve this, but I guess I might as well do this first. So then we have 1 karma left at least for the next session of karma expenditure. Alright, that is that done. Back to the streets we go. Cool. Well, I think I'm also going to call it there for me, because I'm getting pretty hungry and I've been playing for a little while now. And I have more work to do tomorrow because I haven't been fired yet, and therefore they actually expect me to do work, which feels a little outrageous. But there it is. And I also need to descend into hell and get myself some valorous sugary snacks to improve my heroism score, as do many of us. So thanks everybody for hanging out again. I will hopefully stream again soon and get on with the Dragonfall campaign, because I am enjoying it, and it's also nice to get a little ways into this before the big Baldur's Gate sledgehammer smashes everything else to smithereens. Yeah, it was a nice stream, I agree. I will save it here to make sure that that's all covered, and yeah, be seeing you.